And we are live. Hey, Concrete.
Hey, Danny girl, what's good with you?
Honey, it is hump day.
It
Yes.
is, it is, it is.
Yes, almost the end of this fiscal year. I'm so excited. So happy.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, you know what? It is absolutely insane to me how probably because most of us have been like cooped up in the house. Like it feels like, I went to the store today and I saw Christmas stuff. So it feels like the holidays are almost here. And that's just insane to
Yes.
me. I'm
Honey,
not
my
ready.
birthday falls on Thanksgiving Day, so you
Oh
know
my
I'm
gosh.
excited. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm not
Yes.
ready. I need more time.
Oh no, honey. You remember you didn't adopted me, so come on, Mama Concrete.
I swear, I'm sure something will change where I'll get like in the spirit, but I just don't even feel the Christmas spirit. But it's still early. It's still early.
Yes, it
So
is
give
still
it time.
early.
Did you
Hey,
get a lot of shopping done last Sunday?
yeah, honey, for me,
Oh, oh my gosh. You know what?
so I ended up going and I caught a sale.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I caught a good sale. Like it was
Okay.
30% off of stuff in Dillard. So I ended
Mm.
up I found two purses. I was there. I had to go to
Oh
pick up
my God.
shoes that I had already ordered, but it was like
Hmm.
some cheap Adidas that I was excited to get because I needed some. And messed around and looked around and saw that sale. I was like, well,
You know what? It was a reason you went in there. That's
yeah.
funny. I need some. I feel like I have so many pairs of shoes. Like when I'm ready to go out, I literally am like, I know I got some black pumps. Like I have to look through a million shoe boxes to find out if I really do. But I need some like running shoes. Really, I bought a bike, so I want to start biking. So I
Oh,
have a
that's
ton of
cute.
tennis shoes, but they're like Vans, casual shoes, Converse, stuff like that. I want
Oh, stuff that you ain't got to be running in because them shoes
right,
hurt your feet
right,
if
right.
you
But they
stand
cute
them too
though, and
long.
you can wear them with
Yeah.
dresses, jeans. But I'm like, I
Mhm.
need a good shoe, so we'll see. Maybe I'll try to get someone to buy me some.
So you gonna get you some white girl Nikes.
They look cute. If I can find some cute ones, you know what? I love I'm plain, but I like pops of. So like if I find some with like some pink in them or some like even like a neon green, just like a pop of pretty color, and I'll have on all black, but with the color of my shoe. So we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see, we'll see. But at least you did some damage, even though you wasn't picking up presents for nobody.
I
Got some
really thought
shopping
I
in for
had really
yourself.
good intentions. Like I had really good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the sale and I was like, oh, I need a new red bag. I saw one with some flowers on it and it was really, really cute and girly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I mean, she needs a friend. So,
Oh, okay. Might as well, huh?
yeah, I was like, I couldn't beat the
Might as
sale.
well.
So I was like,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, at least you found it on sale, so that's
yeah,
a
I
good
did
thing.
good. I did really good, really good. So I'm
That's
excited
good.
because I like a good sale, and especially if the stuff is cute. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Um. So, are you used to seeing synchronicities? Like I was telling Curlin, I had the weirdest dream last night. Then I've been seeing a lot of synchronicities. So last night I dreamed somebody gave me a really, really soft bed. And I got in the bed and it was like pillow topped and it was so soft. And I was like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
this bed feels wonderful. Um, and then I've been seeing like 1111, 333, the number
Mm-hmm.
26, which I just seen, like my birthday. And I've been like, what in the world is going on? Like, this is crazy.
You
A
know what?
ladybug flew on me and bit me. Well, I ain't gonna say it bit me, but if a ladybug flew on my neck today, I was like, what the hell? Hopefully it's some money
Yeah.
somewhere around here, child. I'm just like,
Now
okay.
I'm not heavy into like esoteric things,
Mhm.
but sometimes like I do, sometimes like when I'm creating reports and stuff for work. Like when a number continuously comes up and it'll be like a triple digit number, or if I just continue seeing a number over and over, like it does kind of trigger something like, I wonder what this is telling me, that happens to me from time to time.
Okay. What y'all up in here talking about? Who gonna get timed out?
They already on some mess.
D Darrell, what's up, man?
That's my guy. I wish we could play our song. Oh my god.
Yes.
Hey D Darrell.
What's up, D Darrell? Why are they calling?
I want is a light-skinned girl.
Wait a minute. Save yourself, black woman. If you can time Aaron B out, that's fine.
Oh Lord, what you starting already?
I don't know. I'm just being messy. You know how I like to do it.
Don't time that man out.
I know, right?
You probably already got him.
I'm sick of Jerome, baby.
Jerome always coming in here with some mess. I just learned to, like, I used to let him trigger me, but baby, I'm so over it. I just let him do his thing. He ain't gonna bother me.
I'm sick of Jerome, baby. When I say
it's not going to bother me.
Jerome.
He always on some mess.
Yes. Yeah, so I've been seeing a lot of synchronicities, and that's been interesting because I am kind of into the esoteric stuff. So yeah, I'm excited, and I felt good when I woke up this morning. So it wasn't a bad dream, and I was happy about that.
Well, good. Hopefully that means something really good is going to happen. You know what though? The palm of my hand has been itching for over a week. I am like,
which one?
My left.
Oh, that's the money hand, honey.
I don't know though. Like I'm like, okay.
Wait. I'm lying.
Okay.
The right hand means the money coming. The left hand means you got to pay it out.
Oh no. I don't want to pay no money out to nobody. Listen, let me go get some hydrocortisone and put it on this hand. I'm not trying to pay no money out to no one. No.
Oh God.
No, ma'am, you ain't even have to tell me that.
Oh gosh. Honey, Concrete finna get some money to buy me my birthday gifts. Notice I said gifts.
Listen, I do not need money to go to Dollar Tree. Listen, I will go on a shopping spree up in there, boo. So look, we good, okay?
Concrete, you know I don't like Dollar Tree stuff, right?
No. Oh my God.
You know, like I'm the choosy beggar. You know that, right?
Oh, listen, I'm good. I'm like good at getting gifts because I'm observant and I try to pay attention to what people like. I'm telling you, my friends, I always kill the gifts, and then they always give me the suckiest things. My best friend, she ain't listening, so I can say this, but she gave me like. She'll always ask me, like, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have a Instapot? Do you have this? And I'm like, I have all those things. And so she got me a fondue maker. And I'm like, when am I ever going to a fondue maker? Like, you can melt the chocolate and stuff. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? So, it's in my garage. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find a need to use it. I'm going to do a Kwanzaa party for, like, friends this year. So maybe I'll use it then. Like a fondue maker.
Oh, well, see, mine already know. Because I believe in giving good gifts, and I expect good gifts back, and so mine already know that. They know me, and I'm probably not the one who can hide her facial expression when I feel a certain type of way about something. So if you give me something, I'm like
that you ain't feeling. Your face gonna tell it all.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, thank you. That was so
She always the year before last for Christmas. Well, no, last year Christmas she got me a really nice watch, but I already have enough watches. So she brought me the gift certificate, and I took it back and got me a bunch of bracelets and some little midi rings. It was like really expensive. It was a nice watch too, but yeah, she just is not a good gift giver.
Oh, mine is dope. They be knowing me. They be knowing. Like you can never go wrong with white shoes. Like I have a bunch of
you
white
can't wear them after Labor Day.
not like heels,
Oh,
crazy.
white sneakers. White
Yeah,
sneakers.
like I wear a lot
Okay.
of white
Tennis
sneakers.
shoes.
I love nice jackets, and I'm a dress girl. I'm a dress and jumpsuit girl. So
Okay.
they kind of have me pegged. Curlin has me pegged too.
Does he?
Sort of.
Oh my gosh. See,
For the most part. For the most part. I can't even
I have
front
to
on
send
him
my
because he just
fiance
told me
a
that he did.
list, and I'll be like, I send the links to the exact item that I want, and he'll usually be like, "Here go my card." Like because he buys functional gifts. Like he'll be like, "Oh, I bought you a set of new tires." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, babe." You know, type of thing.
Okay, this is so funny. He said this is going to be interesting. 2 predictions. Number 1, we don't care what black men do. Number 2, we need to save ourselves from black men. Let's watch and see. Yes, let's watch and
Well,
see.
we shall see.
Brother Rochelle, RJ, what's up, man?
Hey, RJ. We
You
don't get to see you too often.
757 prime time. That is so true. I need a new North Face now. Hey, babe. Hope you heard me.
See, the best time to get them is off season or at the end of the previous season. But
yeah.
You and your Air Maxes.
Girl, I
the
love
new Air Maxes that they coming out with are so freaking cute. I gotta send you a picture of these shoes.
Yeah,
I don't think they're Air Maxes, but like the new Air Maxes are like dope. And I ain't rocked Air Maxes since I was like since I was rocking Jabos, like forever.
Oh my god,
early 20s. I'm aging myself.
You said Jabos.
I like the 97. I'm telling
I love
you.
the 97.
Yes.
So what would you prefer, a 95 or a 97?
I prefer the Air Max 97s. I used to be a 95 girl, but I prefer the Air Max 97s.
That's how I am. I'll tell you offline how Curlin was fussing at me over some Air Maxes, honey. That was funny. Baby, I thought he was gonna break up with me.
Oh no. He was gonna break up with you over the Air Max.
I thought he was gonna break up with me, honey. I thought I was as good as the where he was fussing about them damn shoes. I was like, oh, okay. You know how you have to be like, okay. When when I'm wrong, and he's fussing about something, I'd be like, okay. Like I say, okay, baby. Okay.
Yeah, I say that too, but that ain't gonna stop the fuss, baby. That fuss coming whether I say okay or not. I'll be like, oh my gosh, yeah. See, and my fiance, he's a lecturer. Like it'll be some hours. Do you hear me? Like some hours, and I'll be like, oh yeah. Jesus.
Oh, they don't know when to stop, so they got to verbally kind of give you the whooping.
Yes, honey. Yes. Like, listen, he ain't
that's the word. You know what? That I can't stand nobody fussing for a long time. And what's crazy is I'm a fusser, so I'll fuss for like a long time, and I'll catch myself. I'll be like, I don't even like that, so I can stop fussing.
Me either.
Yeah, I can't, honey.
I can't take it.
Yeah,
like give me, especially like when I say like I understand, because when a person like when I get confirmation that you understand, I'm gonna let it go. Personally, like if I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and once you confirm that you understand, oh okay, I don't have to reiterate it multiple times in multiple different ways. I just let it go. Let it go. But yeah, about this topic though,
honey.
About this topic, it's gonna be pretty interesting. So I'm sure everybody has seen the viral video of the young black males. They look to be about maybe 15 to 17.
We're gonna play it.
Okay. Yeah, I just was giving a little quick synopsis. But basically, we're gonna kind of, for those of you who haven't seen it, you'll get a chance to see it because we'll play it for you, and then we're going to dive off into this topic and kind of have a discussion and figure out what's going on, what's really going on. So you want to play it first, right? Before we discuss, or you want to discuss in a little bit and then play it?
That's up to you, man.
I want to play it. I want to, you know what? I want to play it because I want to know, should we be worried? Like, Black women, do we have something to worry about? Because it seems to be affecting our young boys, like,
You
pretty early. So it's a valid question as to whether or not we should be worried. Yeah, let's go ahead and play it. But before we do, I do want to read the fair use. Do you have it queued up?
It's already in the it's
It's
in
ready to
the
go.
description. Yeah, so we can
Okay.
just play it where we should be good.
Okay. Now I don't know if we needed to put it on the screen first though. I mean, like to flash it on the screen in addition to putting it in the description.
No, honey, we good.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead then. We'll go ahead and play it.
Okay, let me make sure I rewind it. Turn the volume up.
The skin tone? Yeah. Okay, what kind of black
Wait. I'ma rewind it. Can you hear it?
I like black girls to
absolutely.
You feel me? To an extent, what's they said? The skin tone? Yeah. Okay, what kind of black girls? Like either my
Did the volume go down? I think we lost the volume. Oh, it's because you is it because you muted? We lost the volume.
I am so sorry. I'll start it over again. I didn't realize it. Hold up. Okay. Sorry about that.
Black girls to an extent. You feel me? To an extent, what's they said? The skin tone? Yeah. Okay, what kind of black girls? Like either my complexion or lighter. I'm darker than you, so you want to talk to me? No. Okay. Well, excuse the fuck out of me. Wow. Black dark skins are mean. What? Yeah. I mean? Yeah. You don't even know me. I understand. White girls did shit. White girls ain't as judgy. Like, y'all judging me and y'all mean. That's double negative, yo.
Alright, so I like Asian girls, really?
Yes. Why?
Because you gotta show the dark chocolate some love sometimes.
Do you like dark chocolate? He likes all the flavors of ice cream. I got all types, yeah.
You know how it goes.
Okay.
Which do y'all prefer, black or white females? White.
Like.
I just like white females. Like white, let's get up.
I like
white girls got that super head. Who you say more freaky? White girls. White girls, okay. Black or white females?
White females.
Why?
Good.
Black or white females?
Black.
Alright, why though?
Cause like number one, like they got big ass booties. I don't give a fuck. And like you just like bond more with them because you know you say your relationship, right?
Black or white females? White girls. Black girls, white shit. I said white girls. You say white girls, white shit. You know that makes you good. Yeah, you know they let you do what you want. Sure. So you with a black girl right now, or you with a white girl? I'm with a black girl. With a black girl. All right. Black or white female? That's tough. That's the white female. I'm sorry, bro. All right, why you say white?
I just like them, bro. It's just I like black girls. They like to give a nigga attitudes and shit.
Do you prefer black or white females?
White.
God damn, you're not gonna let me finish my motherfucking sentence.
White girls got that super. Why you say white?
I feel like they just do it better.
They do it better?
White girls got it.
The white hoes.
White. Man, the white hoes. The white girls all talk, but the white girls, they hot.
You got them, they got yeah. Who you think got more of an attitude though?
Black.
Why you say white?
Okay. Well, that concludes our presentation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a lot to digest. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Save Yourself Black Woman. She says, read the comments under that video on Twitter. Young Black girls are not worried. They're dating out. Thank you so much, Save Yourself Black Woman, my favorite mod. And shout out to our bro, RJ. Thank you so much for the Cash App. We super duper appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all. We appreciate y'all. That was a lot to digest. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Okay, so with the first young man, the interviewer herself was a brown-skinned woman, and she asked him if he liked dark-skinned women, and he said no, that dark-skinned girls have bad attitudes, that he does not prefer to date he said he don't date dark-skinned girls. Not only that, he said he prefers white girls. Yeah, I felt like I felt offended for her. I felt offended for her. Just hearing those comments, and he has the right to his standard, to his preference, but that does not mean that his comments probably didn't sting for her a little bit. So yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I was somewhat hurt about the way that video came off. And I have been an avid supporter of SYSBM because I do feel that men should have the right to date whoever they want and be with whoever they want. Avid supporter. But for whatever reason, when you hear about I hear about it more so on the West Coast with the interracial dating.
Yeah.
I've heard it like in New York City. I think you'll see a lot of interracial dating. We don't see a lot of it down here. So it's like, I don't see certain things within my own demographic. So when you start to hear it out of the mouths of the teens and stuff, then you have to wonder, why are they're not our boys. Why are Black teenage boys having these same reactions as Black men, or some Black men? Because all Black men don't date out. We know that. But why are they having those same reactions? Shout out to 757 Primetime. He says, thing is that when Black women say they like lighter men, we don't complain. We just keep it moving. It's a lot out there who do too. Okay. I hate these videos though.
I do want to say something though. I definitely come from a different standpoint than Danny. I do consider them our boys. I am not an avid supporter of SYSBM. Yes, Black men have the right to date who they want, as do Black women, but I also have the right to have an opinion, and I do have one. And it's watching this was absolutely sickening to me, but at the same time, it did make me stop and reflect on, some of the comments that they were saying and whether or not there's any truth to it. But we did get a super chat from DJ Naff really quickly. DJ Naff, thank you. He says, who want to take bets? We're going to see the attitude they talking about before the end of the show. Asking for a friend. You know what, DJ Naff? You might just be right.
I'm going to try not to have an attitude.
I ain't making no promises. You get what you get.
But it's just one of those things that you're kind of seeing in it's coming into fruition. And I know that Black women, we want to say that we don't care. A lot of us are saying that we don't care. It's no big deal.
I ain't buying it.
Yada. I'm not buying it either. I am not buying it either. But the thing is, Black women and Black men don't necessarily have the same dating options. What do you think about that?
I think that there's some truth to that. I do think that there is some truth to that. I do think that, the notion that Black women just can't date out and can't get a man of another race is definitely not true. I grew up in a white town, and white boys, there definitely were white boys checking for the Black girls. The Black girls in the town that I grew up in, they preferred to date, the brothers. I saw two that decided to date out, but there were a plethora of young Black boys and Black men who were dating out. But yeah, I think that there is some truth to that. I'll say that. But I do have a question for you, As a mother of a Black son, now I don't have any sons. I do have a stepson, and I want to touch on something relating to him. But first off, I wanted to ask, how would you feel if you saw a stream and that was your son making those comments? How would you feel as a Black woman?
To be honest with you, I would low-key be embarrassed. Now, this is the thing though. Now, if we're staying in a certain area, and let's say we're staying in the area that we stay in now. So I'm in a working class neighborhood. I wouldn't necessarily call it the hood, but it's some hood shit over here. So if he didn't have any options but like hood girls, and he didn't want to date a hood girl, then I really wouldn't have a whole lot to say. But hopefully I will put him in the best position to date the best people. So I would low key, no, not even low key. I would high key be embarrassed that it would be my son on there. Like, white girls got that wop in they.
Yeah.
So I would be embarrassed. If it were my son. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I would be embarrassed. Now, I don't think that most men would find embarrassment in it. But Curlin and I actually spoke about this situation earlier. But I'm gonna read her comment right after this. But Curlin and I were speaking about the situation earlier, and demographics has a lot to do with it. If you stay in the hood versus not staying in the hood, the way your kids are raised has a lot to do with how we treat each other. And so I wouldn't want it to be him. Like, I wouldn't want it to be him. I would be embarrassed by that. I wouldn't want it. Yeah, I wouldn't want it to be him saying that.
Right. But as far as demographics go, like, the thing is, even if you're raised in the hood, that fetishizing of women of other races still exists. Like, I lived in a all-white town, and when we would go visit like Chicago, and at the time, I had white girlfriends, we would go down there. You would think they saw a celebrity, the way they would be. And this is like inner city Chicago, like the way they were on the white girls, like whenever we would go down there. So yeah, like, at the time, my ex, like we were dating, so I'd go visit him and, have my single white girlfriend with me. And yeah, it was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, shout out to Feminine Insights. She says, I disagree. You ladies are not in a space to say that. Black women really don't care. But that's just
How
the
do
thing.
you know what space we're in though? Like, I frequent a ton of different spaces. I'm not sure if you're meaning e-space. In addition, all of my girlfriends and family members, and I have a very large family, are Black. So what do you mean by like we're not in a space to say that? I don't understand what that means.
Or maybe she's saying that she doesn't feel that the majority of
Or
Black
mental
women
space.
feel like, yeah, maybe that's it. But what I will say is, when I went through, so the original video came from Instagram. So I actually tracked that post back down on Instagram because I don't know how to use Twitter, so don't get me. But I tracked that original post back down on Instagram, and I went in the comments. Yeah, they were saying in the comments that Black women, it was some Black women in the comments saying that they don't care. But then I'm going to tell y'all this. If I don't care about somebody is dating, you can't pay me to
even comment. I'm not even going to waste
comment.
my time talking about it.
When I don't care about something, I really don't care about something.
Exactly.
But when I care about something, or something hit a nerve, then
you're going to talk about it. You're going to express it. You'll dwell on it more.
And then this is the thing. If Black women are being honest about our dating options, Black women don't have the option to date out the same as Black men, or excuse me, we don't have the same options. I will say that Black men actually have more options to date out.
I hate that talking point. It's so this space. But I mean, there is some truth to it. I think there is some truth to it.
I hate that there's actual truth to it. I hate it.
Okay. Right.
I hate it.
You know what though? Even as far as the comments about Black women really not caring, I guess it depends on the Black women, because you know what? I'm in a couple different all Black girl sisterhood groups with thousands of Black women. That video was posted in each and every one of them And the Black women cared. It was evident. I didn't see, but these are, you know, adult, mature Black women. They were saying, you know, how disappointing it is. And there were a few comments of women who, I don't care, you know, we need to date out and practice our options too. But the overwhelming majority of the Black women, it was obvious that they care.
Y'all, I honestly don't feel like we actually have the same options. Now you do have some Black men that, like, now I will say the majority of Black men do date Black women. The majority of Black men do date Black women. It's the majority. But that number is steady on a decline. If you have 30% of your college graduates graduating and going after white women and marrying white women, that says something. If you have videos like this circulating around the internet, that says something. If you can find a prom picture with I think it was 8, with 8 couples and all of the boys are Black and all of the girls are white, that says something. Now, it may not trigger y'all. It may not trigger y'all, and nobody may not, you know, a lot of you ladies in the chat may not feel the same way about that. And that's cool. I get it. But when I saw that and the things that I hear coming from our boys, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What is really going on?
Yeah, we can't. I mean, I'm not going to act like I wasn't bothered by it. I absolutely was. I'm impacted by anything that affects my people. And, you know, that is, even though it was a small sample size, I think that number is growing, and it's growing amongst our young boys. And I think that, to be completely honest, I wanted to talk about this really quickly. So I have a stepson, and he's a young adult male, and he is, you know, I've had conversations with him regarding, you know, how he views Black women. He is, I guess, and they listen to the show sometimes, so I don't know if he's listening, but he would probably be deemed like a educated lame, kind of little nerdy, has different interests, definitely not a jock or anything like that, but extremely attractive though at the same time. And he would talk to me about his experiences with Black girls. And he is, you know, in college, he has a government job, he has a luxury car, but he's still, you know, like, he's not their type. So, you know, Black girls aren't necessarily checking for him. So he will, you know, date and, you know, Hispanic girls and, you know, just girls of different races. But it's not because his first choice wasn't to date Black girls. He talks about their negative attitudes, and like, I know that he's not making this up just to try to make Black women look bad. I know that there's
Honey. Shout out to DJ Nav. He says bottom shelf bread is always available. But
don't nobody want that bum.
Facts. So, you know, me and Curlin was having this conversation, and then it was thinking about the guys that I wouldn't have dated when I was a younger, I'm not gonna say a younger woman, but when I was a young woman, a young lady, there were boys that I wouldn't date at a certain period of time because I didn't feel like I could relate to them. And it was a lot of girls who were passing those boys up. And so we don't really, not to say, God damn it. Then we were talking about the attitudes of Black women, right? And so Black men have said it. A lot of us as Black women admit that we do have attitudes, right? It's still one of those things to where we don't think that it really matters. We think our attitude should be looked past because we fight for Black men, or we're on the same front lines with Black men, or we're saving Black men, or and this is the mentality of a lot of us. You know, we feel like we're in this thing together. We should be fighting white supremacy together.
Absolutely.
It should be us against them. And it's not the attitude anymore.
You know what? You are absolutely right. And when I think about the groups that I'm in and seeing the posts reposted in those groups, there was absolutely no examples in the comments that I read. And I'm talking about, I was reading hundreds of comments in each of the groups where there was like any accountability or any admission that you know, some of what was being said was true. Now, I found it interesting that though, but this is something that I think is a misnomer. that Black girls have worse attitudes. And I think that as a dark-skinned woman, you're less likely to get away with giving someone attitude. So I thought that was funny, and that's just something small. But yeah, there were no women saying, well, the guys do have a point. Well, we as women do need, there wasn't any of that. And I have to be honest, I did not see that. I didn't expect to see it either, though.
You know what? And it's even crazier because sitting there talking to Curlin about this topic today, I was like, okay, some of us do have attitudes, but sometimes we don't have attitudes with everybody. Sometimes we just have attitudes with certain types of guys. And I'm like, I was still sitting there trying to justify it. And he was like, okay, but why are so many guys saying this? How was this passed on if it's just by experience? How is this passing on from a generation to a generation?
Right.
If we're honest, yeah, sometimes it's true. It's true.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even try to argue that point because I know that that's true. Leo Anthony, we're not trying to disprove the young men. We're like, the point of our topic is not to say that they're lying. Like, we're talking about what we see. We are being honest in what we see every day. So our point is that we're not trying to disprove what they're saying. Like I said, I thought the comments would have been hurtful. Yeah, but that's definitely not our goal. We're not saying they're lying and that's not our angle. But I did want to say that now I personally didn't have the experience of guys in my in my school age years that I wouldn't have dated and this, that, and the other, because there literally were just a handful, like literally less than 5 of Black guys in my school and like my direct age. Now I lived in a college town, so there would be guys who came over from the cities surrounding the city that I lived in. But I didn't have that whole I wouldn't date you because you a nerd type of because it wasn't a lot of Black guys, and the Black guys that were there, they weren't checking for no Black woman. So they wanted the white girls. They were easier. They were they had more access to finances and different things like that. So I didn't personally have that experience of rejecting certain Black guys because they didn't fit a certain type of mold.
I will say that there were guys that I wouldn't date, but there were guys who wouldn't date me. But I don't think we're gonna we ran into the problems that our daughters would run into in the future. Yeah, I don't think we're running into those problems. So if we're not running into those problems, all of these things are new. And this is probably going to be exclusive to Black women, to where you're seeing young boys saying that they prefer white girls over Black girls. You even had a little boy on the video that was with a Black girl and still said he preferred white girls.
Oh yeah, that was kind of insane. Oh, it was insane. And the thing is, do you know what the 2 things that they relegated their answers to, or the basis for their answers, was literally sex, that white girl's freaky, and the attitude of Black girls. Like, that was it. It was kind of like that was kind of a running theme amongst the young boys. And I don't know, just as a woman, and it's not like I'm their age, so I am impacted by anything that they say directly, but I think that it is just, they're just a small sample size. And I just felt so bad for the young girl during the interview with, when the guy was telling her no, I wouldn't date you. You're too dark. I'm just oh, wow.
Yeah.
And even though, like I said, my stepson, I understand his story. He's very open and candid, and we talk about dating and different girls that he's interested in and asking them out. And but I would still be hurt if I saw him on a video like that and voicing his desire to date white women or white girls over Black girls.
Yeah, it's definitely a mind screw. People are saying that the chat isn't moving. I don't know.
It appears to be moving to me. I can see. I can certainly see the comments. Let's see what happened to the chat. The chat stopped. It's moving. The chat stopped.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe it was just glitching for a second, but it looks like it's back moving. Oh yeah, it's moving now. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So are we
You want to
ready?
go ahead and open? Yeah, let's go ahead and do this.
Oh God.
Yeah, I want y'all to come up and join us. If you have a dissenting opinion, if you agree, whatever it is, like come and join us. And we're here for the smoke, as well as those who may have opinions that are similar to ours. But we want y'all to come up and engage and join us on this topic. This was kind of like, as a woman, this was a topic that it hit home. It's a bit triggering. So I'm gonna try though to not be triggered. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to be triggered as it relates to opinions that differ from mine. I respect it. I understand, and like I said, I can admit that I can see that there's truth in a lot of the comments that were being made by the guys. Like, Black women do have attitudes. Like, we cannot pretend like we don't have attitudes. Come on, like, seriously. That is like, that's the like minimal thing that we should be able to be accountable for. The fact that we have attitudes. Come on, y'all.
Honey. Yeah, because it was like, well, maybe we don't have attitudes with everybody. Honey, you should have heard me trying to convince Curlin that no, honey, we ain't got no attitudes. They got the attitude.
Yeah, I can't even do it because I know I'm gonna get called on my mess. Like I used to be like, because I was so steeped in the sisterhood. Like, no, that's just some Black women, a few of them, maybe two.
Right.
But it's like, no, come on, don't even try to lie.
Oh, girl, I think that it is stuck because I'm looking at the app on my phone, and let me get off my page. Maybe it is.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you, Complex.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, the chat's being real buggy.
Oh,
there's something going. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Something's going on with it.
I can't
So
see.
I literally closed the app out and then restarted it all together.
And it's still doing it?
It's still kind of glitchy. So no, people aren't tripping. Like, the chat's glitchy.
I don't even know how to rectify that.
I don't think it's anything on us though.
Yeah, I certainly think it's YouTube.
No, I think it's YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully it's a bug that'll just work itself out within the next few minutes. We do ask that y'all continue rocking with us and listening at least to the panel. And we'll give it a few minutes to see if it works itself out. Complex, thank you for joining us, though. I'm sure you have something interesting to say about this topic. And
I do, but give me a couple minutes. I'm just bringing my daughter over to her friend's house. Give me a few minutes.
Absolutely. Brown Bird, how's it going?
How's it going, ladies? How y'all doing?
Doing awesome. Good. How are you?
I'm living good, man. I'm all right. I'm good. But I'm gonna wait on it because I'm gonna let the brother before me because I could talk for hours. So I'm gonna let the brother go instead of me.
Okay, I'm here. So I'm gonna be walking back. So if I cut out, just let me know.
Okay.
All right. So I kind of said this previously. Like, in California, this whole SYSBM thing, as you guys know it happened years ago, like back in like the late '90s. So we're out here. You're kind of like 2-3 generations sort of into sort of like the whole biracial thing. And like I said, all my brothers are married biracial, so it's kind of a norm. It's a norm in all actuality.
I've heard Black women from California talk about how they don't feel desired and how the men ain't even checking for sisters.
Well,
like that.
you know what? I'm born and raised out here. Like, they're full of shit, but that's a whole nother subject. Yeah, no, it is, because the reality is like we've talked about it before. The same thing that you were just saying, Rose, about your stepson, I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me. It's the same thing with me, So You know, it's kind of, I think my brothers may have kind of gone through the same thing. I mean, I don't know, but that's what I do know. It's weird. It's one way with sisters, and it's a different way with other women. That's really all I can say at the end of the day. And
but did you
once
notice
men-
a difference once you amassed a certain level of success?
Did I notice a difference?
Yeah, like, okay, the chicks that weren't checking for you, now all of a sudden, you know, like, well, sisters that weren't checking for you, now all of a sudden you're a successful man and they're, you know, checking for you.
No, no,
Okay.
no. It's kind of standard issue. That's why I'm very pragmatic about the shit, right? I kind of own who I am, so I'm fine with who I am, right? And I know what I'm attracted to. Right, I know what I'm attracted to, but I also know that above all else, compatibility works with me. So I'll defer to compatibility at the end of the day. Okay, but I mean, if we were to just kind of go based on just, you know, historical narrative and experience, oh man, yeah, I don't know. It's don't ask me. I have no idea.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I think we have had these discussions before, and you've kind of shared some of that. So yeah, like I said, I can't argue certain things. And even aside from seeing my stepson's experience, just, you know, I have to admit that as Black women, we have attitudes that as Black women, you know, women of other races do absolutely appear to be more feminine and more submissive. And, you know, I have to be honest if I hope for there to ever be any kind of, you know, changes made within our community and within the Black collective. It starts with me being honest with what I see.
Well, Rose, let me say this too.
Yes.
Attitude wasn't even. I mean, okay, the attitude thing is the attitude thing, right? It wasn't even that I got attitude from sisters. It wasn't even that. It's just that, like, I just wasn't what was preferred, right? So yeah. I mean, so, but when you ask that question, or when you see like where your stepson is, okay, look, in a dude's mind, you know, we're pragmatic. Okay, logic and rationale. At a certain point, it clicks, and then you kind of go with it. Don't ask him to explain it to you, because he's probably spent all of his teen years trying to figure it out, and just said fuck it.
Yeah.
Because it's actually nothing for him to figure out.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that. And you know what? I had conversations with him that I kind of had to deter him from, like, quote unquote tricking. Like, I'm like, you don't spend your money on these girls if they don't seem to be genuinely interested in you. And, you know, he's like, oh, I don't mind.
Wow, you sound like a few people in the manosphere.
You know what's funny?
Yes.
My son was trying to buy some little girl something. I was like, why are you buying her something? What does she do? Do you like her? Does she like you?
What the hell? What the hell?
Because we are anti-tricking at young ages over here.
Right.
At young ages.
No, good shit though.
That's good. I like that.
Shit, won't be he ain't gonna embarrass my family name tricking at 8. Like,
that's what I'm saying, and that's what, like, the situation with him. It was like a girl who wasn't like didn't seem to be showing genuine interest. So I'm like, no, you're not gonna take her out to a nice restaurant and do all these things for her, and she's
But Rose, if women of other ethnicities show genuine interest, are you gonna tell them not to pursue it?
No, and I wouldn't. I know his experience.
Okay.
You know, I prefer for Black people, you know, Black men to date Black women and vice versa. But
look, I'm not against women. I've been on record saying this too. I'm not against y'all dating out. What's her name? Save yourself, Black women. I mean, shout out to you, sister. Do your thing with your white Latino boo. The rest of y'all, you know, get like her. Shit.
All right.
Said, is he flat foot tricking? Hell no, not mine. Concrete
no.
Flat foot tricking.
No, absolutely not. I think that myself and my daughters were like, like, we had a talk, and, you know, we had a very intense conversation about that. So I think he realized, like, yeah, I better back up, you know, and find someone who's genuinely interested.
Yeah, yeah, you got to teach against that tricking early, honey. Y'all got to teach. Not here. Like, hold up, bro. We don't give girls gifts if we don't really like the girl, or if the girl doesn't really like us, and if she'll be nice to you just to get your stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Mine early. I be y'all would think I was manosphere the way I be talking to my son.
You know what? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Brown Bird, did you want to go ahead and chime in? I know you said you were waiting initially before you added your commentary, brother.
Well, Concrete, somebody wanted to know about these attitudes that we so-called see from Black women.
I'm about to get it.
Okay. Do they want us to go into detail?
Hey, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and step off. I just wanted to kind of throw my 2 cents in there real quick, okay?
Thank you for coming up, Complex. We appreciate you.
Wait.
What did they want to know about the attitudes that we see? I mean, we see exactly what they probably see regularly. I mean, we can't deny that Black women have attitudes. That, you know, and there are probably a plethora of reasons as to why, but that does not negate the fact that Black women have attitudes, and they're expressed when they deal with the world around them.
Okay, I think the what you call it is working now, or it's working from my phone now. Can you guys see each other in the chat now?
I see.
That is so weird. No, they said they can't. Okay, I don't know.
That is insane.
Yeah, I can't see it still.
It's crazy because I can see it from my phone now.
And you're in the YouTube app.
Yeah, some people are saying that they can, some are saying that they still can't. But
no, the chat is still. I was coming up to tell you guys, the chat is still, it's still screwed up.
Yeah.
Get it together, YouTube. Come on.
Really? If you guys go to Sister George, my page on YouTube, you guys can see the link if you're trying to grab the link to join us.
Yeah, I see it stream, y'all. I'm gonna get my perspective, right? So, so I think you mentioned something early about like how the dating sphere is in like New York. I'm from New York, right? I live in New York, so yes, I see a lot of brothers that are date out. They'll date like Latinas. They usually like dating Latinas. And y'all on? Y'all can hear me? Y'all good?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
Let me make sure I heard a big ass pause. All right, so I'm from New York, right? So I see like these brothers like dating Latinas. They date like Latinas, they'll date white girls and this, that, and the third. And also, you know, there's still brothers that date sisters. So in my personal experience, especially seeing something in the chat, like this is the problem that I have with Black women. Because first and foremost, I love Black women. I prefer to date Black women. I say it proudly. I even tell my mom knows exactly. She calls me the little Malcolm X because I'm always like railing. I'm like, yeah, I love Black women and all this other stuff. But this is the problem I'm having, right? I think the problem that we have sometimes, and referring to the video, especially, I think some of the brothers was just trolling. Because I see a lot of the Gen Z kids trying to do stuff to get on Black girls' nerves. And so Black girls retaliate and they be like, oh, well, you want your little basic Becky. But at the same time, when you see it on certain YouTube videos, you have Black women that's like, yeah, I'm going to date white dudes. How you think about that? And it's like, yo, like, y'all make it a big deal about dating white dudes. Like, I don't care. Like, date who you want to date. Like, when I hear that it's a Black man dating a white woman, I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Or if you're a Black woman dating a white man, I don't care. Just don't bring up race-related stuff when you're dating another nation. Keep it to yourself. If that's who you happy with, that's who you happy with. I prefer to date Black women. So I'm just like, anything that's towards something that's a reflection of my nationality, that's what I want to be with. But again, I think the thing that I'm having a problem with Black women, personally speaking, I'm in my late 20s, like I always say. The personal problem I have is the attitude problem, and also about projecting and always being negative. It is like, bro, I don't want to argue with you. I just want you to chill with me, hang out, and do all that other stuff. I ain't got no problems. And especially like when you compliment Black women, sometimes you can compliment a Black woman. I've seen this a couple of times, and I'm saying this as God be my witness. I just seen the other day, it was a Black woman and a white woman walking down the street. The Black woman had a nice ass afro. So I'm like, oh shit, word. And her white friend, I ain't gonna lie, she wasn't all that. So I wasn't checking for white girl. I was checking for the Black girl. And I was like, hey, I like your afro. Shorty gave me the biggest snarky look and then gave me an attitude and kept it moving. And then her white friend acknowledged me first. And I'm like, I'm not even checking for homegirl. I'm checking for you. Like, and I'm just trying to give you a compliment. So when you talk about the attitude thing, I mean, I understand in specific situations, but it's like sometimes they have this fear, like every dude that sits up there and says something to them is trying to holler at them. And that's not always the case. Like, we're just acknowledging you. So you got to take that into account, man.
I think you bring up a very good point. Curlin literally had like the same things to say. Like he was checked, well, prior to me, because you know I'm the end all be all. Anyway, he basically said the same thing when he was checking for some black girls. Some chicks just gave him attitude right off the back, and so
yeah, I've heard my man say the same thing. Just even opening doors for women, you know, like they think you trying to, you know, let them go first because you're trying to catch a peek and look at their, you know, like, so they automatically kind of give you attitude. It's like, what? You can't even be pleasant, you know, without getting attitude. And we can't dismiss all of the stories that we hear. In addition, let's not act like we don't see it.
They don't even say thank you sometimes. And be like, damn, I'm like, come on, just say thank you. Like,
yeah,
I agree with that.
It really sucks.
Absolutely.
Okay. Pablo, what do you have on it? Okay.
Oh, hey. Oh, Shay's still up here? Shay was up. Go ahead, Pablo.
Okay. So, you know, I never had a problem dating black women, and I'm married to a Latina for full disclosure. The problem that I think I had, I didn't have a problem with their attitudes or anything, because the types of black women that I like didn't have those kinds of personality types, right? The problem kind of came in is the numbers of the types of black women that I could obtain. I couldn't. Well, let me say this. I want to try to articulate this as best I can. I could not gain an equivalent black woman of the equivalent attractiveness, femininity, and temperament that I could a Latina or a white girl. There aren't as many of them. I can't get a woman who looks, behaves, talks, walks, has the fitness of my wife in a black girl. I've had one or two, but they're so in demand by other black men, they get hit on by thousands of them. I'm just another nigga to her. In my wife's country, she's just average. It's a billion of them.
There's not Is that because you feel as though the black women that fit that mode, there are fewer? Like most black women don't fit that mode, in other words.
Well, there's lots of black women who fit it, who look just like my wife. The problem is they're in so much high demand, I can't get her. I gotta come. You know how many Negroes I gotta compete with for her?
Interesting. That's definitely an interesting point that a lot of people don't consider.
So Obsidian did an experiment, and when I saw his experiment, I was like, oh my God, that was my experience. He put up a Tinder page, right? He put in an age range, and he just left it there and saw who responded to him, right? Who showed interest in him. Overwhelmingly, when you looked at the women who responded to him, overwhelmingly, the types of black women who swiped on him, and you looked at the white women or the Latinas who swiped on him, they were by far more fit and more attractive.
Well, black women don't like to compete, and especially if you are kind of, sought after.
The attractive black girls didn't swipe on him, though.
Right.
They're not going to, because they have more. They have a different archetype that they're looking for, and a guy like Obsidian won't fit it. Nor will a guy like me, quite honestly. So that was the issue. One, that I couldn't get a date with one. I could, but I can't. I wasn't going to be able to keep her because it's too. It's they're too much they're in too high of a demand for a woman that would be of equal attractiveness, fitness, and agreeability in another group. They got more of them.
You said your wife is from another country?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
All right.
Brother RJ, what do you have? And it's so good to see you. How you doing?
Hey RJ, we're gonna let O'Shea Lennox go up next. I know we skipped over you, O'Shea, but we do want to get to you next.
Yeah, go ahead, RJ.
Yeah, I mean, what's the way? How we doing, everyone?
We're great. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing well, just staying focused, making things shake. Yeah,
long time no see.
You know. Oh yeah. Just making sure I keep myself busy. Keeps me out of trouble, right?
Facts.
Yeah. So that's all. But hey, here's where I'm at. We were just talking about this earlier this week on another panel. I just people are going to do what they're going to do. So I'm not like I used to be when I was younger. Being raised in the 5%, pro-black type mentality, right? So I'm not here to preach, try to persuade people or any of that. More like a once upon a time type of thing, if you will. If anything, I just want to, remind people to keep in mind, that everything has a, reaction to it. And I'm as long as, because I'm reading the comments down in the chat when the chat was moving, and you see people saying, "Oh, we don't care, we want you, we're doing our own thing anyway," and all that type of stuff. It's self-destruction. And the act itself is self-destructive behavior. But we know that, and I believe that we have this.
RJ.
You went out.
Okay, can anybody else hear us?
No, we can. We can hear you. I can hear you. We can't hear RJ.
I meant me and you, Concrete. Not me.
Oh,
yeah, I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, RJ, you cut out.
Now you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. That was the wife. I had to disconnect from it. But yeah, I hate to sound conspiracy theorists, but for the longest, we've heard people say, well, to correct what we understand and know as the black problem is to after benign neglect, what's the next thing? You lead them to their own devices and will eventually self-destruct. So miscegenation is an area of activity that's also viewed as war. And so when you have the dominant society, at least here in this nation, you see it already playing out in Australia. You see it already happening in the UK. And as it happens here, then we'll basically take care of ourselves. And then because like however you want to spin it, I don't care who's the father, I don't care who's the mother, you're creating something else. Okay. And once you create something else, so long as you're okay with it, you cannot create something else, the person who fills in the bubble at the bottom of the survey and then has to write it in, right? You cannot then turn around and talk about dark-skinned women and then turn around and talk about dark-skinned anything, because you have aided and contributed to the elimination of what that dark skin would have been. So I think it was Brother Complex that said it earlier. True. He said he wants people to stop complaining. And I agree with him, because you can't have it both ways. Don't come through complaining about what we doing and black this, black that, being in unison. Don't come through talking about what dark-skinned girls are able to do or any of that good stuff, because you're making those very women that many women are jealous of and have revered and saying and getting all the attention. And you know what? The other part of that technology is people want to create those types of kids, because when you create those types of kids, now in your head, you feel like you're giving them a leg up and they're not going to go through what you feel like you had to sustain throughout your life.
Good point.
So these people, yeah, no doubt. These, you know, we're so screwed up. We're such an experiment. But unfortunately, you know, we'll be in another form and we'll be extinct. Okay. And we can owe it to ours here in this nation anyway. And we can owe it to ourselves for aiding and abetting with the extinction of ourselves. And we don't want to hear, oh, we're not going to be extinct. What the hell you mean? When anytime you get online and you're promoting this type of rhetoric, it may not be in our lifetimes, maybe 200 years from now. But when you're talking about, but when, and I'm going to shut up after this, I'm going to pass the mic. When we do that, right, and we create something else, that something else can choose. Because remember, we want to be welcoming, we want to be accepting, right? So then when this other goes and then chooses whichever side it's going to go with, more than likely they're going to go with the white side. Now that's really something else. Now you just created that kid who's going to say, oh, well, can't be racist. My great grandmother was black. You know what I mean? That's where that bullshit comes from the mulatto that then goes back on over to the other side. And then my final point is this, this right here. The whole thing with doing that right there, the intermingling of it, and then you know, being able to point the finger, call the kettle black, you're going to not only going to be your own self-destruction, but you're going to be remembered as a class of once upon a times. Like when I look at these museums, like the African American Museum, and when I look at all these things that they do now that are like symbolic things, I think that's to phase for the future to say, this is what black people once were. But we don't know what happened to them. That's what they'll say, right? Because that's what Australia does. We don't know what happened to black people, man. They were here one day, but see, man, they were really talented. They were athletic, but oh my gosh, man, they were just so violent, man. You know, then they will be able to tell the narrative because we won't be around to tell it. So as long as we're absolutely, as long as we're okay and we're ready to accept this, as long as because we know what we're doing, we're all grown, right? Right. So as long as we're ready, willing, and able to accept the fate, then let the chips fall where they may. I'm done. Thanks.
You know what, RJ, you bring about some really good points. I think just specifically about us, you know, our people and how we will be extinct, or blackness will look a lot different 100 to 200 years from now. Scientists have done studies and they've even predicted the same thing. So that's like
National Geographic actually.
But you don't.
Well, absolutely, ladies. And then what's so crazy is that you were hearing people, and again, coming from the conscious community, you were hearing people say, oh, well, the reason they don't want to mix is because we have the ability to wipe them out. Yeah, if we had the numbers, if you weren't getting hit out on all these other fronts, if you're getting killed by police and you're getting locked up, and then you have
each other and everything else.
Then you got both sides saying, well, we don't care about each other. And I mean, because no other group does that. You know, only in this chat can you find a troll account that's going around saying, well, we don't want y'all anyway, and then vice versa with the men. You know what I mean? That is completely asinine. I'm right here in a big city right now because I recently relocated. And I'm not going to do it to make myself look like a fool, but I could walk up to any of these essays and ask them how they feel about some their natural counterpart, and I guarantee they wouldn't say any of this dumb shit that I'm seeing in this chat or that we perpetuate or online. I mean, like I said, we're just an experiment. You know what I mean?
And you know what the interesting thing is?
Sure.
We don't believe that we'll be wiped out, but even if you look at African Americans versus Africans, there's distinct differences. You know, our people, I believe that our people were kidnapped and brought over here as dark melanated Africans, broad noses. The more and more we mix the more and more we do race mixing, the less and less we look like those people that came from the continent. So it's not like impossible that this could happen. I don't know, why some people refuse to, believe that this is a possibility.
You don't even need to look at another country. You don't have to look at Australia. You don't have to look at the Africans versus African Americans. You can simply look at the Native Americans. Look at how
Absolutely.
Look at how they used to look. They were brown, and now you pretty much can't tell the difference between them and a white person now.
They were the color of a tire. They were the color of a tire.
It's hard to find any Native American that has any hint of brown of them. Never mind brown, hint of brown.
True. That's true.
And that was, and it wasn't even that long ago. It wasn't like it was the 1700s. It was like the 1800s. It was like that.
That's a good point, Miss J. Wanted to let O'Shea get in here real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get some other people in here as well. Go ahead, O'Shea.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Awesome.
Hey.
Thank you for coming up.
Good. Hey, no trouble, because I was in the middle of doing something, and I'm still in the middle of doing it. But anyway, I got about 3 points, and I'm gonna knock it out, and I'm gonna be done with it. Number one is, look, I can understand why dark skinned people, women, actually behave the way they behave. Because society, believe it or not, and it's been proven, society actually do treat them a little less than they do treat people of lighter skin. It does. So I'm not going to take that away from them. And that's with black people in general, but especially the darker skin, and that's all over the world. But now, really what it boils down to is an attitude. If you have a bad attitude, that's going to make it, look, that's just going to only prove what they already think in their heads. That's all that does. But now, with my other point is, black women by far, y'all are not humble. Y'all refuse, by law, y'all refuse to humble yourself. I have sit there and seen posts on Facebook and seen it even in real life. Black women, I've heard black women say they'd rather have a baby than admit they wrong. That's how I'm like, it can't be that serious. Oh yeah, it is. And I'm like, man, that's ridiculous. It was another point I was gonna bring out, but dang it, I'm getting old, y'all. That's all.
It's okay.
I'm getting old.
I'm getting old too.
And you want to come back to it, we can do that too. But I forget my points all the time up here, so I understand.
Yeah, I just said it.
But another thing that people don't talk about black folks that I figured out the past couple of years that's been borne out with data. Everybody keeps talking about the abortion rate. And what they're not talking about is the fact that we're not having kids anymore.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. That's one of the things that can help us become pretty much extinct.
Yeah, that is.
It's not so much that we
went from having 10 plus children, to having like, is it 1.5 or 2?
It's less than average? It's less than 2. We're like 0.3% away from like white women.
Wow.
But white women are 5 times our number. Well, actually 6 times our number. So yeah. So that's another problem that we're having. So we're not having children. And also I think with the darker skinned people, a lot of them, I hear a lot of them saying they don't want to have children, or they're not trying to have children with another dark skinned person.
You know what? I used to hear kids say that, but grown women?
Yeah.
You know,
but see, they were kids then, but I'm saying you have to remember every single year they're getting older.
Yeah.
So they're not children anymore. You know what I'm saying? They grew up with listening to that kind of stuff. So they internalize a lot of it, and they don't want to have another dark skinned child.
Usually
wait, let me read the super chat.
And that's not women, that's boys and girls. People don't want to talk about that. That's both sides. They don't want to have dark skinned children.
Let me read the super chat. Shout out to Brown Becky. She says the same thing with Native Hawaiians. And I think she was referring to how the Indians have gotten lighter in Hawaii. Native Hawaiians lighter too.
Because that's going to happen when you give people the ability to integrate. They're not going to want, whoever's on the bottom is not going to want to stay on the bottom. They're going to try to get with someone who's higher up so their children won't be on the bottom. And that's what's happening. No one's talking about it really, but that's what's happening every single day at alarming rates. Yeah. And I think once we get that 2020 census data back, it's going to surprise a lot of people. If it wasn't for black immigrants coming in, our numbers would be
That is
way lower than
another
what they are
good
now.
point, Miss J. Yeah, you on fire because that's another good point.
I agree with Miss J on that point. Nobody want to be on the bottom.
No.
That's
But I'm saying that's the whole, and people, I know we're talking about the SYSBM, but I'm saying right now you're seeing it more with the boys. They're more vocal about it. But I'm telling you, how black women are, especially they hear this stuff, they're going to take it and go further than you ever would think is normal. Because that's kind of what we do. We take little things and make it 1,000 times worse. So these little Gen Z girls now, yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Y'all need to really like pray for your daughters right now.
Lord have
Because
mercy.
they're listening to they're watching social media, they're internalizing all this shit, and honey, it ain't gonna be nice. It's not gonna be nice.
They regurgitating how they feel, and then they.
I'm saying, but also they have no outlet to basically have someone explain to them, hey, this is social media. You have to take it with a certain grain of salt. And I'm not just saying that all teenage girls nowadays, well, teenagers in general, the Gen Z, they're losing their minds over social media. So I'm saying this specific aspect of it, where they're targeted that way and they're humiliated that way.
Yeah, and because the
when you
statements
see
that
them
the
in,
boys are saying isn't new. Like I remember my daughter coming home and saying, a guy was trying to date her and told her she was pretty for a dark skinned girl. That. This isn't a new mindset.
It's not, but I'm saying the way they're doing it on social media, where the entire globe is pretty much laughing at them, they're gonna have a reaction. It's not gonna be positive. So it's just like it's gonna be a mess.
Can I say this?
Well, I wanted to get
somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to get Black Wizard in because he hasn't had a chance to speak yet. Black Wizard, what do you have on this?
Oh man, Ms. J actually said a lot of the stuff I was gonna say. I've been up here a few times and I've said, I've said and gotten a kind of a side eye when I said it, but I've said
you
that.
You get a side eye for me. I completely see what you were saying.
Yeah,
all you need to do is watch the little kids on social media. A lot of grown-ups don't do that, but if you watch them, they're out with it. They don't hide any of the shit. They say it out there to everybody. They have no filter, no chill at all.
They don't care.
They don't.
And I've been saying for quite some time now that the black race is going to be over. And I said in about 2 generations. I think it's going to be less than 100 or 200
insane.
years. I think like if you're seeing it a lot from the boys now on social media, and I agree with Ms. J on this point, because even as the culture exists today, women are still the arbiter of our culture. So right now it's like kind of like a hold the line kind of thing. But once black women snap and then like convert over to really putting their efforts into dating out, it's over. Like, and that's probably if not,
we're gonna be like the UK.
Now,
yeah, it'll be like are they at 50%?
Yeah,
I think
it'll be worse than that. No,
but I'm saying you have to understand. A lot of people don't realize is that the younger generation, they already have Snap. The older generation is the one talking about that. Keep the race together, Black Pride. If you can't use our comb, don't bring them home. They're on that stuff. The younger people ain't on this stuff
at all.
Yeah, exactly. But I know. My brothers are, or I got a brother like, yeah, I know. So it's like when we don't have as long as people think we do. That's all I'm saying. And I actually think this whole COVID situation is going to accelerate it. So
how so?
Because okay, so things worked before when we had to be together because of like policy, and the environment forced us together because policies made us that way. But now that we've had like this taste of freedom and we can do whatever it is that we want to do, there's no environmental policy that's stopping us from being together. Like,
geographic has nothing to do with this. All online, and online's global.
That's
exactly.
True.
We have access to technology, which expands our conscious thought about what's happening in other parts of the planet, and we can see how other people react to certain situations, and we can compare it to our own lives.
Good point.
That in combination with through this lockdown, a lot of couples have been divorcing. People don't really like each other in the first place. You know what I mean? So if you add to that, if you add on top of that the way our culture is and how antagonizing or antagonistic it is toward each other through the genders, like once we're in a position where we both have to sit at the table together, there's not going to be a negotiation. A lot of people are like, so and so is going to come back to the table and there's going to be a negotiation.
No one. They're not even coming back to the table to negotiate.
No, the table's going to get flipped.
Yeah, it is. No, it's not going to be flipped. The table's still going to be there. It's going to be new people at the party. I mean, it's going to be new people at the table. It's not going to be flipped. The table will still be there. It's going to be with new people.
This is so
And that's
sad.
the thing
It's
people
like
ain't
the
seeing.
Black community as we know it is over.
We're literally in the dying days right now. That's one of the reasons why when I hear this conversation,
Lord.
I'm like, y'all are already. You're like the Bruce Willis character in The Sixth Sense. You're dead and you don't know it.
Oh.
It's already. I'm saying it's already a wrap.
Yeah.
It started in the 90s. Now it is over. We're just the dying embers now.
It's like an
I'm
active
trying to hold on
point
to
right
my
now.
little bit of faith that I have left.
I mean,
Well,
you can
keep
hold
on
on to
holding
it, but
on
honey,
to it.
I'm just saying it's over. It started in the 60s when that Integration Act happened in the 60s. That was the beginning part. 90s was the dying part. We're already dead now. It's just our generation hasn't died off yet.
On life support we did.
No, they've got the casket open
once
right now.
our generation dies out, that's the last generation of pure Black people.
Well, let me
That's
say
just how
this.
it is.
Let me say this about the SYSBM piece. Sister George kind of makes a good point. I'm gonna kind of illustrate it for you when it comes to internationally. Black men have a different brand outside of the United States of America than Black women do.
Yep.
And here's why. Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Tupac. All of these are names that when I've been out of this country, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, all of these are names of Black men who, whenever I step foot out of this country, get mentioned to me when I interact with people from another country. They are our 50 Cent. They are our representatives outside of this country, and they represent something totally different away from here than inside of here. Black women have a problem in that they have a brand both inside and outside the United States that is not favorable.
Yep.
And so y'all have to change your brand. Now, Black men can date interracially and interculturally in part because our representatives outside of the inside, we got a trash reputation. But outside, our reputation is totally different than it is inside.
Can I just say one quick thing? Can I say one quick thing to that? First of all, you left out Kobe Bryant, bro.
Yeah, you can't leave out Kobe.
He was talking about who started it. Kobe Bryant is the result of it.
No, he was talking about ambassadors, and I'm saying Kobe
I know,
Bryant.
I'm saying, but Kobe Bryant is the result of it. The people who came before it, they were the true ambassadors.
Oh gosh,
Kobe Bryant came at a point where it was already.
Miss J. Kobe Bryant was a Black men's ambassador globally. Okay, the end all. We're not going down that road. That's all the point was. He didn't say Kobe Bryant, and I was just making a sports joke with him. Okay, so pipe down.
He's in there.
So
he's in
the
there.
other, yeah. I was say
Pipe
definitely.
down.
Yeah.
Pipe
So
down. Never mind.
But I've been in the street. I've been in the streets.
The other thing too is you got to talk about the impact that Barack Obama had with regard to the image of Black men globally.
Good point.
Okay, because I'm going to tell you right now, because it's surprisingly easy if I'm a well-spoken Black man and I contact another country or a company in another country, or I end up going into a place of business and I'm well-spoken, that goes a long way, much further than it used to. So I just wanted to just to bring up that point too. Say what you want about his politics, but the image that he projected globally, holy shit. You got women all over.
It's class versus race.
You guys bring up a good point.
Wait, Sister George.
The world is changing to class versus race.
Wait, Sister George on Concrete Rose. See, I want to say something to that about like how the Black man is perceived. I haven't really been out of the United States. I went to the Caribbean. I went to Mexico. I went to a couple of places, right? But this is the problem that I'm seeing, especially if we're going to relate it to the SYSBM. This is the thing. I always think about how Black women are perceived, right? Especially if you're talking about interracial dating and all these other stuff. I speak to a lot of people of other nations. Like I'll speak to white dudes, I'll speak to Indian dudes, I'll speak to Spanish dudes and this, that, and third. It's this common thing that they think about Black women that, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I said this on another panel. Usually they look at Black women sexually. They don't really take Black women seriously for a long-term relationship. Maybe you might say pump and dump, but I mean, this is what I usually see, and this is what I usually hear from the other dudes of the other races. Like, I'm not saying that a Black woman can't find love, but
don't you believe that that Black men are fetishized for their sexual abilities as well? Then?
But you know why it's more of an angst towards Black women. But think about how it is in the media now.
Why is
when
that?
you look at how it is in the media now? You know that
Megan
in our
Thee
society
Stallion.
now. You know, in our society now that they're promoting whoredom and all this other stuff.
True.
When you gonna see a Black man? When you gonna see a Black man that's gonna be showing his ding-a-ling and all this other stuff and being some skimpy clothes? Not gonna really see that.
But their images, they're effeminizing the Black man.
No, but I'm saying, all right.
In the
You
media.
say that, right. But I'm saying, if we're talking for the straight, I'm talking for the straight ones. I'm talking for the straight Black men and the straight Black woman. So when you see the straight Black man, he's not going to be in a skimpy outfit. Yeah, he may be fetishized. I understand that. He's going to be fetishized. But more or less, like when you see these couples, how they made a big deal about Young Jeezy being with that Asian girl.
Jeannie Mai.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And they in a successful marriage, I guess. But this is the thing I'm trying to say. Black women are often seen as sexual towards other races of men. With Black men, yes, they're fetishized. I'm not denying that. But when I speak to these other brothers, I speak to these other people, they're usually saying that the Black woman is worth for sex and that's it.
But let me hop in real quick. Shout out to D Darrell. He said, "Great show, ladies. The community will survive just like it always has in the past." Thank you so much. And shout out to our brother Art Newstall TV. Let me get back to my Cash App. There we go. He says this color thing is across the board. Thank you so much.
It is.
What I wanted to say was like with Black women's image to the world, I think that the American Black woman is supposedly the standard for the world's Black woman. And so then you think about the images that they put up of Black women. And I'm not even talking about the shit that we do to ourselves, but literally like the TV shows. When is the last time that you exactly
all reality TV, every single one? You can't find a positive one yet.
Nope.
But when have we seen, where are the images of Black women looking regal? We haven't seen those type of images in mass in a long time.
Like the 70s, 80s.
Even married to medicine, who is supposed to be a high class, a high income, even they bougie and ratchet.
It's awesome.
That's not even and they're not supposed to be hood. I'm just saying our image is ridiculous. And Black women, for some reason, we just refuse to change our image. We do everything possible.
Don't even
Anytime
that our image is bad, like in mass.
Every single time we have a possibility to change it or push it onto someone else, we have to go back and claim it. Meg Thee Stallion is the latest example.
Miss J, but see, this is the thing that I agree with you, right? So this is the thing. Like, what about when us see? I want to relate this back to the SYSBM. See, it comes to a burden with a Black man where it says if we call it out because we care, and if we sit here and say we have a problem with that, automatically it's going to be a fight. So after a while, it's just like, what the hell you want me to do? And then it starts to be like, if this is supposed to be the standard of a Black woman, don't expect me. Don't get mad if I'm going to sit up there and seek out another nation of women. And I'm not saying this is all Black men. I'm just saying this is what this is what I see, Ms. J.
So is this what you believe the young boys like for example the young boys in the video stream is, this is kind of the reasoning or the premise behind their decision when they're saying they prefer white women over Black women?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I think it is a little. Yeah, I believe whoever said that, Obsidian. Yeah.
No, it was me. And I say a little bit because these younger guys are more thinking about like we tend to talk a lot, especially like because of the environment we grew up in. We tend to talk a lot about how the media affects people, and then we almost tend to blame the media for giving the images that are being perpetuated. And that, don't get me wrong, the media is part of the mechanism that does this, but these kids are living in reality too. So when they go out in reality, they can see the images in the media, but if the images didn't line up to something that they actually experienced, it wouldn't mean anything. So
Yeah, absolutely.
they're going out and stuff is actually happening that verify the things that they see in the media. And then,
Because people are copying a reality TV.
It could be that, but my point is it doesn't matter. And my point is it doesn't matter if it's art imitating life or it's life imitating art, because it's happening. So if it's happening, these guys have to make a decision, and the decision is: do I deal with this, or do I go to somewhere where it's easier? And to them, it's a lot easier to make the choice to go to somewhere easier because race loyalty is dying.
Yep. I want to get Brown Becky in, and then we'll have Mr. Obsidian. Brown Becky, are you there?
I'm here. I'm outside. Sorry. I have a mask on, so if I'm a little muffled, let me know. I think we can hear you pretty good. Okay. So I've been listening. I feel like
Obsidian, you
guys, can you mute if you're not talking, please? I feel like it's a tad bit too late for the conversation. I think it was it Black Wizard? Yeah, it was him. Who's mentioning Gen Z, but I mean, half of the millennials, they ain't with it either. They don't care either. It is what it is. I don't want to blame everything on social media because we can't blame everything on social media. Your environment plays a part too. What you see in your home and within your immediate family plays a part too. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed this dynamic back in junior high school. And I went to an all-Black West Indian high school, junior high, in New York. And I noticed it, and I was like 12, 13. I noticed it. When I went to high school, I didn't really hang out with a lot of Black people simply because in my high school they were rowdy and I wasn't brought up like that. And I'm not about that life. So, but I paid attention. I noticed it, I observed. So this has been happening for a very long time. Maybe back then, like the 90s, I guess, we could have had a chance as a group, but it's too late right now, in my opinion. It's just too late, My brother, he just graduated high school. He's turning 19 next month, and I heard him talking to his friend on the phone saying, he wants to go to school in Manhattan so he could be around Hispanic people and white people. Well, Hispanic. So it's like, he's a Gen Z. He's 18. And I mean, that's not even just dating. He's just talking about socializing. He doesn't even want to socialize with, Black people much, So, yeah. I do think, like Concrete said, there is a segment of Black women who definitely care. That exists for sure. But this may offend people, well, women, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think the ones who are truly offended and truly care are the ones who either A, were never able to date out, or B, they just can't date out, meaning they don't have what it takes to date out. It's not hard to attract men, period. Men are attracted. If you look good, you look good. And men are going to be attracted to you
whatever their race is. It's not that hard, especially if you live in a big city like, you know, New York, LA, or whatever the case is. So I think that's what it is. The women who are trying to hold on to it, or, you know, they're trying to scare 20-year-olds or whatever. Oh, don't do, you know, stay race loyal, whatever. But the dads are not teaching their sons that. And that's my problem with these Black mothers. The dads are not teaching their sons that at all. They're not. The uncles,
setting the daughter up for failure.
Right. The uncles are not teaching. The uncles are not teaching their sons that shit. They're not. Sorry.
Stopped in the 60s.
I do have to say though, Brown Becky, we appreciate you, and I love when you come up, and you always have a unique perspective too. I don't believe that the women who are, you know, still race loyal or still care is because they can't date out. You know,
no, I mean, like, the ones who are upset about when they see Black men with non-Black women. I'm talking about that.
Okay. Now I understand that, but I have to say this. You know, I had white guys try to date me my whole life, so that's not, you know, even still at my job, like the guy, my work husband, you know, who used to work with at my job, he was a white guy, you know, really nice and everything like that, but, you know, would just bring me food and things like that. So like for me personally, attracting white men is not a problem. I'm not attracted to them at all, but I care a lot. And it's because of my race loyalty. It's because I believe in Black unity. I have a you know, a collective mindset. I am, you know, about collectivism and my people. And, you know, I just really love my people, and I want, you know, I'm concerned about the legacy of us as a people. So, you know, I do care. And, you know, I wonder if, you know, there is any onus on Gen X, because for our children, you know, for millennials, Gen Z, for these young adults and adults to feel like, you know, to basically have such an individualistic mindset, is it something that Gen X failed on in, like, pushing unity and collectivism and, you know, race loyalty? And because I know, like, the conversations that I have with my daughters, and my daughters are absolutely stunning, but they have no interest in dating anyone outside of Black men. So I don't know if it's like the ball was dropped way back when or what.
I don't think so.
No, Gen X was just the last generation.
Let me read this super chat, and then I want to get Obsidian in. Shout out to Mr. Alexander. He says, African-American men are well received in Latin countries because USA is more advanced in gender equality and treatment of women. We have definitely heard that Black men are much nicer men than other races of men. And so that alone does give them a leg up when it does come to interracial dating.
I disagree.
Yeah, Latin America, they have a huge, like, femicide rate where they beat up and kill their women. So
they have a masculine standard.
Well, Miss J, don't they do that in every third world country?
Okay, but I'm just saying, what they're saying is correct. No, I'm saying what they're saying is correct about Latin America, that Black men are nicer. I'm saying because down there they have a huge machismo thing where they have huge issues with domestic violence and killing women.
Right. Oh,
no, they have some of the highest rates in the world. So I'm saying Black men are nicer.
Right, but I was when I said isn't that everywhere else, I simply meant the domestic violence portion, because that is condoned.
No, I understand.
Yeah, that's condoned everywhere else except, you know,
right.
in America.
No, I agree.
Well, let me say this.
And I also want to say what you were saying.
We're get Obsidian in, and then we'll get to Pablo, and then O'Shea, and we'll go back down the line. Obsidian, are you there?
Hey.
Hey-o.
All right. Hey. So the question on the table is, should Black women be worried about SYSBM? The answer is yes. Yes, they should. Simply put, the best of your Black men are leaving the building, and in part because two reasons. One is because, as Complex Design pointed out, and I really was, I listened with great interest with Concrete Rose talking about her de facto stepson, and him relating his experiences. I'm sorry. I mean, I think it's time, and I do agree with Miss J on this point. There's a point where you have to, kind of see things for what they are. And one of those things is we're still dealing with the shock of freedom, Black people. We've only been free for a little over 50 years. And we're still trying to understand what that means. And one of the things that means is that Black men and Black women want different things out of life. We have different ideas about what a good life looks like, what that means. I have accepted, I started last year actually writing this odyssey of mine, the dating coach for the non-select guy, really taking a deep dive into, for lack of a better way of putting this, Black love. The one thing I've really learned to accept, I'm not angry about it, I'm not mad about it, I'm not saying anybody's wrong or right, I just accept it for what it is. Black women have a different idea of what's desirable in a man than other races of women do. Yep. They just do. They don't see smarts in itself as sexy. They don't. That's not wrong. They're not bad people. But other women see a smart guy, quirky, smart, that's sexy. Jewish women go gaga for that shit. Asian women go berserk for that. And so what that's going to mean is the John McWhorters of the world, you can look him up. He's a homeboy from Philly. I grew up in Germantown. He grew up in Mount Airy, a stone throw away. Guys like him, Stanford, Columbia, those guys are going to wind up with Jewish girls, as he did. That's just the way it's going to be. And Pablo made a really powerful point about my Tinder experiment. And he's seen that, if you're a patron of mine, because I'm not going to release the pictures of the ladies to the public because they're private citizens. I'm not going to do that to them. But if you're a patron of mine, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I deliberately, one of the research questions that I investigated was the idea that you should stay in your lane. And I focused on age. Since I'm 51, I focused on age. I polled and surveyed Black women on Facebook and Instagram, came up with a research parameter 35 to 55. I'm sorry. You look at Black women 35 to 55, compare them to white, Hispanic, Asian. I'm sorry. It's like night and day. It's not even close. Black women will not be able to meaningfully compete for any brother that's got anything going for them in that age cohort. Forget it. It's not, forget about it. It's not even close. They're not competitive. Period. Not competitive in looks, not competitive in temperament, not competitive in any non-sexual intangibles. They're just not competitive. Period. And that brings me to the next point about the media. I think it's a bit disingenuous on the part of some Black women. I'll go ahead and drop a name right now. Chrissy. You all know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. She puts a lot of focus on the media. And the way she presents it as if Black women are victims. That's not true. Black women, if anything, are overrepresented in the media. They have, from Oprah Winfrey on down, Suzanne DePass, all these people who, what's her name? DuVernay, all these people who have a direct hand in how Black women are seen before the world. They tell their own stories. They write their own stories. They're the ones that's acting in them. You name it. And, it was really interesting. I did a live show earlier this month, and I talked about it, and I want to share it with everybody on the panel right now to illustrate a point. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, everybody knows about this show on HBO, Sex and the City. Okay? It's based on a novel written by Candace Bushnell, right? Now, the lead character, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, cheats on her good guy boyfriend named Aiden, okay, with Mr. Big. And there's an iconic scene in Midtown Manhattan where she goes to Aiden's brownstone and is pleading with him for her to take him back. And Aiden says to her in the middle of what she's saying, "You broke my heart." I defy anybody here to come up with a analog for all the different black female shows, movies. You're going to be hard pressed to come up with a scene like that. Black women don't see themselves that way. They see themselves as fighting the good fight. They see themselves as victims, special victims. They're not just women, they're black. They don't see themselves as doing any wrong. If you look at black female shows, movies, read their novels, and I have, it's always typified that they're always, on the receiving end of what white men and white society and white women are doing to them. There is no Carrie Bradshaw, pleading with a guy that she fucked over and him saying, "You broke my heart." So we got two dynamics at work here. On the one side, as Pablo pointed out with my Tinder experiment, you got a lot of, and in this case, we're talking about older black women, 35 to 55. You got a lot of older black women who, I'm sorry, they just have a certain way of going about the world that's brutally frank with me, to me, is a turnoff. I mean, why should I get with sisters? I work out with kettlebells, one of whom I got 15-pounder, 40-pounder. I work out with these kettlebells. These broads got arms bigger than my legs. Why should I get with somebody like that? When the white women that are older than me look fantastic. I mean, where do you make the case? Where do you make the rational argument? And then on the other side, you got this media piece where nobody's willing to be honest about the fact that black women have been at the driver's seat of the story of their lives. And God bless them, more power to them. I think what Oprah's done is nothing short of genius. I take nothing away from them on that. But they're not victims. They just have a way of looking at themselves and looking at the world that a lot of black men disagree with. And now we're starting to see that play itself out now at the ballot box. 100% of black women are Democrat. Before the Rona kicked in, 25% of black men, it could go as high as 40% on the GOP side.
Okay. Let me read this super chat. Shout out to Gabe A. He says, "Yeah, my sons and daughters bet not bring no Brads or Beckys to my house. LOL."
Right,
and
Gabe.
Shout out to Counselor Murray. Wait a minute now. Oh, shout out to Counselor Murray for the super sticker.
Thanks, y'all.
Hey, I'm gonna peace out the panel, y'all. Y'all be cool.
Thank you so much, Brown Bird. We appreciate you coming through. What
Can
I
I
want
say something real quick before I go watch my son?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this and I'll hop off. I just wanted to kind of speak back to the point of or speak back to the title. Should black women be worried? I kind of typed this out in the chat too, but just to reiterate it up here, I think it depends. In my opinion, like what keeps together ethnicities and other races are like thousands of years of culture and history, and that information kind of keeps like why you're doing what you're doing and everything like that, because it has like a history behind it and things like that. But our culture was completely developed here, and after it was broken, granted, but the only thing that kept us together really was the policy of the United States. So once that policy was lifted, then the floodgates were open, because we don't have a culture that is like anybody else's on the planet. So I only think black women, I guess, quote, should, end quote, care if they want a black race. Like, the black race isn't entitled to be around. It's just what the government needed people to facilitate an economic purpose. So we were designated black, and we were made to do work together because that's what they needed. But the moment that they didn't need the type of work that we were doing anymore, because they were moving out of one technological revolution into the next, you know, we were cast aside, and we've been on the lower caste ever since. And the only thing that's really kept us together is the idea that maybe we should be together because we struggle together. But that's just an idea. And I think Gen Z and Gen Alpha are starting to realize that it's like, I don't have to do anything. That's just a thought. I can do whatever I want to do. So if the Black race is to survive, then it'll take, in my opinion, it'll take people actually wanting to be together. You know, like, yeah, there has to be a reason to be together. And yeah,
it would take,
I guess that's all I got.
It would take, absolutely, it would take people actually caring, and it's evident that for the most part, particularly you know, through these channels, that neither side truly cares. So there's if you don't care, then, like I mentioned earlier, you know, just accept the fate for what it is. The thing about it is, the where I'm at with it is, they're complaining while simultaneously participating in the what many would deem to be the issue. I'd much rather those people just remain silent. And then on top of that, you know, if you're you know, dating out and doing your thing, you know, Danielle said earlier that when you don't care about what someone else is doing, you wouldn't continue to come around. Maybe they just view it as entertainment. I'm not sure. Maybe you wouldn't speak about it so much because, you know, you got certain sectors that talk about literally the same damn thing about how much they hate us. And you think
they lying too, RJ.
You think, pardon me?
I said they're lying too.
Absolutely, because you would think that they have said, you would think that they've stated everything that they can possibly state about how disgusting we are and how vile we are, and there really isn't. And again, you know, this is on both sides, and I challenge both sides to be as critical about their unnatural counterpart as they are about their natural counterpart, because what you'll quickly find is people are very hush hush when they get mistreated by those from other groups. Versus those from within their own group. You know, we'll take a moment to bash, we'll take a moment to talk a whole bunch of trash, but then when it's coming from, you know, whoever, you know, pick a group other than your own, you know, it's like we're quiet about it. You have to ask yourself why people are running through so many people from so many other groups while still not being married, while still not being tied down, while still not being fostering long-term relationships. You know, you're basically taking your same dysfunction and you're just spreading it across other cultures. That's all you're doing. You know, but, you know, check yourself.
Say that, brother RJ.
What I wanted to know is anybody willing to come down? I got some people trying to get in. So, well, we do have a spot open if somebody.
Hey, yeah. I was gonna say I'll come down. Hey, I appreciate you for having me. Thank you. Y'all take care.
Thank you so much, brother RJ.
Absolutely. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Hey, let me go to mine. I'm gonna come on down too. Get off. Now that I'm here by myself. Woo. Look here. Now I wrote down a few notes. It's that one thing that I've noticed too, and I'm gonna have to go with one of old man old talking points about there are good men and good black women out there. The trouble is, a lot of times we just don't want to see. We just not sexually attracted to them. That's a lot of times that be the point, especially when it comes down to black women. Look, I'm gonna have to say it because look here. I've never heard such thing as a black woman being an incel. That means there's some man somewhere, some black man somewhere actually approached that black woman with good intentions. And somewhere down the line, and she dissed him and dismissed him.
I don't know about the good intention part.
Oh yeah, the man had good intentions. Anytime you beat a black woman over the age of 25 and up, at some point, she had a black man that approached her with good intentions. She, for whatever reason she wanted to, she just didn't accept his advances. Now, going back, let's talk about this. Black people, it bugs me to see black people go to these predominantly white neighborhoods and white schools and then get to complaining about why white people not treating them that good, or on the other hand, wonder why their black children are actually wanting to date out. Because let me tell you something. If I didn't have such an affinity for my own black women, there's been many white women that I ran across. I'd be like, man, I would have her. But I think about my black women first, and that's how I leave it. Because see, look here. When you get around some white people, some white women, and they get to look, and they be all friendly and kind to you, and you don't deal with a whole bunch of attitudes out of them, a lot of time that will sway your mentality. If you don't have that sticking power, that will sway your mentality. It really will.
I'm gonna have to agree with O'Shea. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I agree with you in this, and this is what I said before, O'Shea. A fit, feminine, attractive black woman is one of the most difficult women in the world to obtain. In the United States of America, a fit, feminine, American black woman is one of the most difficult women to obtain. They aren't that common. It is difficult. Black women get up here and act like, they're just all that welcoming and accepting of advances. They are not. That is not how it works. It don't work that way. And so what I had to do is I had to go somewhere with that particular aesthetic. I'm not talking about a chick with a bunch of tattoos. I'm not talking about a chick with purple weave in her hair. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about a woman I can take to the company Christmas party and she knows how to work it, right? That kind of woman, it's hard to get that woman here in the United States of America in a black woman, in that package. It is difficult. And I don't want anybody sitting up here trying to say that shit is easy. That shit is like finding a piece of straw in a stack of needles.
So,
well, I got a question.
It definitely depends upon the people that you're around, for sure.
Wait a minute, I got a question. I ain't meant to interrupt you. I got a question. Now, for the guy that's talking, if I'm not mistaken, your wife or girlfriend, she's not from this country, right?
No, she's not.
Is she in this country?
Yes, she's right here with me.
She's in this country.
Yes.
How long y'all been together?
7 years.
Okay, so y'all done got over that mark. Because I'm finna say, man, if you brought her back to this country, it's only a matter of time before she get a good dose of that American freedom and mentality. Oh man, you're gonna have trouble. But anyway, I pray to God that never happened to y'all. Pray to God y'all always live in wonderful bliss and all that. And
I treat her very well. Okay. So if she can find somebody to do it better, she's free to go. But until then, I'm holding it down.
And personally, I believe black people should feel entitled to one another. No, ADOS, black people, for the simple fact of that. Look here, we're all in this together, whether we want to believe it or not. We do, and to a certain extent, we understand a lot of things about each other without having to go through a whole bunch of explanations. And sometimes, look, I honestly just do not believe. I don't care how well they treat you, how well they love you. Somebody outside of ADOS, or especially here in America, at some point, when you're trying to explain something to them, why you feel the way you feel because the cops stop you, and then they get to start asking you a whole bunch of questions. Well, maybe you didn't do this, and maybe you didn't do that. Look, I'm sorry, that's gonna make you feel some kind of way. And you should never be put in that position with the woman, and I'm saying man with the woman you say you love, and with the man to the woman that you say you love. You should never be. I would never want to be put in that position. Because look,
wait a minute.
They will empathize. They'll empathize with the other party. Is the issue.
Yeah. So there's a lot of positions that Black American women will put you in.
Wait, is there an order? Because
lies.
Oh,
is there an order?
You know what, Gabe? They was up here first.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gabe. Hey, then we'll get you guys into.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, just wanted to kind of chime. Hey, what's up? I just want to kind of chime in on some of the conversation. I know that it's this whole idea. I think that it's when you guys are talking about the generations, right? The Gen Z, the millennials, the next generations, what that's going to look like in several generations as it concerns Black families being established or Black people coming together. But I do at the same time, I don't think that the whole narrative should be the idea that just Black women have bad publicity worldwide, because I think that that is a variable to some extent. But I do think that we have to realize that globalism is something that went leaps and bounds beyond what it was in previous generations. I mean, the fact that we're even able to just get on our phones and download certain applications and be able to talk to somebody halfway across the world, I think that's also a factor in the whole idea of just the world is mixing. The world is mixing more and more and more. I mean, even as it concerns news, my grandmother was born. She was born in 1929, and she was telling me a story because I know around that time, actually several years before, that's when the Titanic the Titanic incident happened, right? And she was saying that she didn't hear about the Titanic until she was, I mean, pretty much a teenager, right? News traveled slower. That connection between just people within the same nation was less. So I don't think the only narrative out there or the only reason for a lot of the mixture amongst races is necessarily just the bad publicity of Black women, even though I think it is a factor. But I do think it's also the whole idea that globalism is happening at an accelerated rate in comparison to previous generations.
Okay.
Good point, Gabe. Hey, thank you, brother. We appreciate that. That's definitely a different thing, something else to consider. Thank you, bro. Game changer. What do you have on it? I know you about to look. I know you about to say something crazy, but go ahead.
Well, a couple of things, really. So one, I think it was Pablo that said, it's a hard feeling when a person don't understand getting pulled over by the police. Or no, it wasn't. It was O'Shea Lennox.
O'Shea Lennox, yeah.
Yeah. But so there are worse feelings than a person's inability to empathize with your hardship because they don't have it. I mean, like if I was to bring somebody over from the Dominican, a bunch of American Black jackasses would laugh at her because she didn't grow up with a stove in her house. So yeah, they're not the only ones that have an inability to not sympathize with the other's plight. Now, I was saying yesterday how the African American from the U.S., how her pussy is simply worth less than every other woman's pussy.
All right, y'all. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna hop down. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and game changer. Can you use vagina?
Vagina. Yeah. How her vagina, on average, not all inclusive, on average is worth less than every other ethnic group of women's. Now, and what I've come to conclude from listening to everyone here is that in addition to that, they're selling it for more, meaning that they're asking for more from a vagina that's worth less. So I find this interesting. O'Shea, Obsidian was saying it, O'Shea Lennox was saying it, that they're, and Pablo was saying it, that they are being more demanding for a vagina that is less valuable. So I wanted to point that out and find that very interesting, and that may cause the dearth in relationships that we're talking about.
Dude, how you gonna jump up here and talk about? Hold up, how you gonna jump in and talk about a condition of being poor to a condition of just being Black? The police look, believe it or not, it's some poor folks in America that don't have a stove in their house.
I don't believe it, but okay.
They ain't got nothing to do with being. They ain't got nothing to do with color. But now to get stopped by police because of your color, and they find all kinds of reasons to try to justify that. Dude, please take that somewhere else. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's do a poll, shall we? If you had to choose between getting pulled, how often do you get pulled over by the police?
Me?
Yes.
Personally, I've never been pulled over by police.
Okay, so if you had to,
hold on. See, I'm a look. I'm
You're
a
a good
special,
man.
look. I'm a special look, but I'm kind of a special case. I'm kind of a special case.
So let's
You don't
compare.
drive?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's compare. Let's compare tragedy, shall we? One person does not have a stove, and another person has never been pulled over by a police officer in their life. However, they know of someone that kind of looked like them who has. Who is suffering more? You see, when we try to paint other people out as being insensitive assholes, you kind of have three fingers pointing back at yourself. But hey, I understand. You have suffered through so much knowing that somewhere someone who looks like you got pulled over. I feel your plight because they look like me too. And I am going to, tip my stove to their memory.
And game changer, let me add this. My wife is a brown-skinned Latina who speaks with a heavy Spanish accent. Do you not think she has experienced some racism? And the answer is hell to the motherfucking yeah. And it's been times she pointed the shit out to me that I didn't see. So if you think I received the end of some racism, what do you think she gets in a country that doesn't speak her fucking language?
Well, what's going on? What's going on, Pablo? And what I notice is a lot of these straw arguments. You see, here's the thing: when you have something that has lower value, like Ado's vagina, you tend to find heavy advertisement for it. There's a lot of advertisement for it. So part of the advertisement is this smear campaign against international.
Can I ask a question?
Yes. But and part of the smear campaign is creating a straw woman who is indifferent to the suffering of Black Americans. And it's also trying to say that there is some value in a woman who sympathizes with you because somebody else gets pulled over by the cops. There is no value in that shit. And that doesn't make the vagina worth more. It doesn't. Now
I think there is value in someone who sympathizes with another man who looks like you who gets pulled over by the police. If I were with any partner who did not sympathize with George Floyd getting pulled over by the police and getting killed, we would no longer be together.
So answer me this: you come across a guy that you're simply not attracted to, because he doesn't measure up in every way that you feel a man should. But he comes to you and says, "Hey, I really feel bad about George Floyd." Would you drop your panties?
You know what? That wasn't the point that I was making. So you're trying to change.
Can I ask Game Changer a question? I just want to ask.
Go ahead.
Peace to the channel. To the panel. Thank you for letting me on. Real quick, Game Changer. So, are you in a relationship with a Black woman?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. So is she from this country?
No.
Okay. So have you ever been in a relationship with a Black woman from this country?
Yes.
Okay, and how did that work?
I'm now not with those women, and I'm with a woman from another country.
Okay, so who left who?
Well, it's been a series. I'm in my early 40s. It's been a series of relationships with Black and non.
Okay, so Okay. So here's the thing. I think the problems arise when you generalize Black women. When you say that, all of them ain't worth nothing. That's your personal experience, bro. Okay, well, check this out. You said you made the statement in a general way.
No,
right? Which is fine. I got you. But let me finish my point.
Yeah, he does.
I got
that.
you.
He has a habit of saying Black women without.
Right. I got you. Either way, it don't matter to me. Listen, bro, it don't matter to me. That's not my point. My point is this: I hear a lot of brothers, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of smoke for this. A lot of brothers down and sisters and whoop and we should go overseas. We should do this. We should do that. The fact of the matter is, man, Black love ain't going nowhere. You still gonna want to mess with the sister down the street or the ones that choose you. I think this all just boils down to some dudes ain't getting chosen by some women, or they have problems dealing with some women for whatever reason. And then they focus on the lower women of the society as opposed to the best women of society. It's like if Keisha down the street with a big booty don't want to deal with you, then okay, go find one that does want to deal with you. I don't understand why it's such a hard issue. And as far as the generational, let me just speak one last thing. As far as the generational situation, yeah, it's like that now for these younger generations, this Gen X, Alpha generation, whatever. But wait till they get older. Wait till they get older and then they can make different decisions. They like that now. I mean, everybody is wild in their 20s and not wanting to get married and tied down and yada, yada, X, Y, and Z. But as they get older, they make different decisions. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, see, I don't know what any of that means because here's the thing. What you did was you created a straw man. A straw man of a person who is upset at Black women because of sexual rejection, and therefore he is voicing his concern against all.
There's no people out here, and there's no people in this space that are not mad at sisters for these reasons.
I did not interrupt you, so do not do that to me.
Go ahead, brother.
There's people of all types. There's people of all types that exist. Okay, there's six-fingered albino midgets out there. However, that would not make a sufficient straw man. Now, what you did is you tried to paint this on me to devalue what I say. What I say, I stick to. Now, on average, their sexuality is worth less than all other ethnic groups of women. Now, I challenge you to find a group who is worth more, or excuse me, who's worth less than them. How about I put it on you? Find a group. Can you name a group? Can you say that, Malaysian pygmies, their vagina is worth less than please?
And you know what? Game Changer is making a really good point here. Wise Man, is that relative? Is this Wise Man?
Yes, sir.
He's making a really good point here, because my argument is very simple. Why should I settle for less? Because that's really what this is getting at. You should settle.
No, I'm not saying that you. No, that's not what I'm saying. Let me say what I'm saying. I'm not saying.
I didn't cut you off. I heard what you said. I heard what you said. If the big booty chick ain't checking for you, and find somebody that is, but that ultimately means settling for less. I'm saying, why should a brother like me settle for somebody who doesn't bring to the table something that I could actually use? They're giving me junk.
I want to get Dennis in, but let me read this super chat first. B, shout out to you. He says, what makes y'all think non-Black women can't empathize when footage shows ton of them out there protesting injustice? I think that is an excellent point, because you do have some that do protest. But let's get Dennis in.
Nobody's saying that all of them can't sympathize, but there are also some of them that are holding up signs that say Black penis matters. So some of them are just, putting their fetishes on display. But nobody is making a state, or nobody is assuming that all women of other races can't empathize.
Well, no one is saying.
Can I answer?
Wait. I said I wanted to get Dennis in because he's been here for a while and he hasn't said anything. Go ahead, Dennis.
Hey, what's up, Sister George, Concrete Rose? Really appreciate y'all having me on the panel.
Thank you for coming up.
Oh yeah, no problem. I've been a part of the space, the manosphere, and the Black manosphere for a while now. And some of the things that I've noticed, especially with the SYSBM, was what's so funny is originally when the whole SYSBM sort of movement started, there was a lot of complaints coming from the women's side about, for example, the men leaving and stuff like that. Now, if we're going to be honest, a lot of this comes down to, like Obsidian was saying, sexual desire, right? So a lot of people are actually, when people make a lot of arguments, a lot of people aren't arguing for what they don't want, they're arguing for what they do want. So, for example, when they're talking about big booty Brenda from down the block that doesn't want you, what happens is I'm gonna bring it back to SYSBM. What happens is this wasn't really a problem until all the other quote unquote educated lames started leaving. Because if 10%, 15% of the Black men were leaving and dating outside of the race, That really wasn't the problem. The problem now, and what a lot of Black women are realizing is it's not the 10% that are leaving, it's the other 80 to 90% of men that are starting to leave too. And now what's happening is a lot of women are starting to say, oh, hold up. Now all the Black men are leaving. Let's come to the table, let's talk about it. But the problem is it's too late. The problem is if Black women want Black men to stay, y'all gonna have to all get on the same page. There can't be any of the ratchet, can't be any of the, talking down your men. It's gonna literally take.
That's impossible.
But that's what I'm saying. It's impossible because it's just not gonna work. So it's gonna be something that literally we're probably going to see the end of the Black community. We're already seeing it now. Funny enough, I'm about to be 27 this year. I was already saying when I was 8 years old, I was telling my mom, there's no race loyalty. Like this is different generations. So literally this is sort of becoming the last stand for the Black community is the women got to come back to the table because the men are leaving. And it's not just the top 10% of men. It's a lot of men. So that's all I got to say. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
Dennis.
We appreciate you. That was definitely a different perspective, and we appreciate you coming up. We got another super chat from Gabe A. Thank you, Gabe. We appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, Gabe.
He said, these dudes are literally saying Black women are worthless worldwide. When we talk about negative Black messages perpetuating media platforms, that statement is a prime example.
May I respond?
I take exception to that.
May I respond?
I take exception to that because.
Okay, but he's talking about my comments, so may I respond, ladies?
Yeah, I take exception to that. I really do because as Pablo pointed out earlier, I've actually done an experiment on this. Come on, man. At some point, especially at a time where the Black manosphere and beyond, this ain't just in a small corner of YouTube. This is all over Black social media. There's this major, roiling, widespread, wide-ranging conversation with enormous intensity about Black male value. You can call it the high value thing, whatever. And I'm not saying you have to take one side or another. I'm not saying you have to agree or disagree. I'm just saying that conversation is extant. There is no corresponding conversation about Black female value because the conceit is that Black female value is evident. There does not need to be a discussion about it. I disagree.
What the fuck? It is evident.
May I respond to Gabe? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Game Changer, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, Obsidian. If you're done, Game Changer, you can respond quickly, and then we'll let Archer get in. Then I want to hear from Miss J.
Okay. So, Gabe A, I'm not saying that they're worthless. I'm saying that when measured against other ethnicities of women, and things that men value, they are behind. They're in last place. If it were a race, they would be the person in 39th place, assuming that there are 39 ethnicities competing for first place. That's what I'm saying. And it's not through anything genetic, as you well know. It's something to do with culture. There is nothing about modern ADOS female culture that benefits men. And if there is, it's far less than any other culture. There are certain cultural things you can expect when you from a woman of a different culture that you simply do not expect from a ADOS woman. These things give them value to a man. But perhaps I'm wrong. What is a cultural staple that an ADOS woman provides a African American man that no other does in higher abundance?
Is that a question?
That's a question, Gabe.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to Archer, and then we're gonna have Miss J. Archer, what do you have?
Boy, I was just listening, enjoying, and then I heard some fuckery from, I think his name is Y. Seaman.
Boy, don't come here calling
You
me
know
no damn
what?
female.
What's his name? I'm trying. I don't know. I'm asking.
You know better.
Brother, then you can't
You get
read
petty.
then, brother,
You know
because
how-
you
read it
see it. But
phonetically.
yeah, I mean, if you're going to ask me a question, brother, just ask me a question.
What's your name, bro?
My name is Wise Man.
Oh, I did read that wrong.
I really do.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. So you
Go ahead.
You said the men in this space are mad because women are not picking them. What made you come to that
No,
conclusion?
I did not say that the men in this space. Just like what Game Changer was saying. No, let me explain. I did not say the men in this space. I said some men. There are some men that are saying that. That's all. I said some men.
I ain't got time
Yeah.
for semantics. But listen, okay. Some men that are you trying to say there's black men out here who cannot get pussy and they're mad about that? Really?
No, that's not what I'm saying. It was kind of like what Obsidian was saying.
No.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, well, let me say this right now. Don't get it twisted. I hear this shit a lot. If a man wants pussy,
and stop saying the P word, say vagina.
Right. Oh, my bad. If a man wants the VJ, Black America is where he needs to be. So let's not
act like there are some men who can't. Like, what's his name? Sean.
That's not.
There are men
Can I
who
clarify?
can't.
Can I clarify what I said?
There are some men
Can
in
I
Black
clarify what I
America who
said?
cannot get the top tier black women. But
That's not what I'm saying. No, what I said.
PG, freaking in Black America is by far the easiest thing to do. If you want it, you're in the right spot. If all you want is some VV. So let's stop with this black incel bullshit. I mean, sorry for cussing.
Okay, brother. Well, that's not what I said.
Let me finish. I don't care what you said, really. Let me finish. For two.
Well, then what's the point of having a conversation if you don't care what the next person says?
Because you don't mean shit.
Okay.
But okay, for two.
You know what? Shout out to Olivia Gabriella. She says black women's value is in direct correlation to black men's value. All these men running to other nations for women whose men have made and kept their patriarchy intact. I think that's what she was trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry for butchering
that. That is true. Black men have never made a patriarchy, therefore they never had anything to keep intact. So that's true.
Oh.
I don't know about that one, but
okay. Well, then answer me this, Wise man.
So,
when have black men ever had an established patriarchy in this country?
Well, I got a
black men. Every time black men do establish a patriarchy or try to establish a patriarchy or have any little semblance of a patriarchy, then it's always destroyed and undermined.
Okay, so
that's just the truth.
Black men have
now,
never had a patriarchy in this country. Therefore, they had nothing to keep intact.
Well, on
now,
what scale? On what scale of a patriarchy?
Or not, they never had.
On what scale?
On what scale?
Okay, hear me out.
They had.
Okay, you guys.
Explain it. Give me an example of a black patriarchy.
Let each other talk because
Okay, I will.
it's getting ridiculous and we can't hear one over the other.
That's true. And then we also
That's fine. I'm not in here to argue.
We wanted to get Miss J.
Okay,
in
well, I
as
just want to say one thing
go
about
ahead.
black women's value. Their value is very apparent. People date from other races. You want to talk about races of people that date out the most? White men and Asian women date out the most. Black women are least likely to get picked by a different race of people. And it may not even have anything to do with their inherent value as a person. Most other groups of men are not attracted to the black American female body type. That obese stuff don't fly in most other cultures. So we can.
The obesity is a cultural thing too, Archer.
Don't. You can miss me with all
it's
that.
It's actually Hispanics who date out most, but
that's not a race. But I mean, obesity is a cultural thing.
Yeah, Hispanics are like second. Hispanic women are like second behind white men, behind Asian women. Yeah, but every group of people date out more than black men and black women. So we have this conversation as if we're killing our race by dating out. But let's get one thing
I'm saying
straight.
percentage-wise,
Black America is
white
not the only
people
group of
date
black
out the
people
least.
in the world. There are billions of black people in the world. Us 40 million black Americans can vanish tomorrow, and the blacks in the world will be okay. Let's stop being so damn narcissistic. Think we're the only black folks in the world. We're not.
I
Okay.
mean,
So
this
let's
is our group. We were going to talk about and be concerned about our specific
Yeah, we can be
group of
concerned
people.
about our group. I agree. We can definitely our individual group, our individual tribe. I agree with being concerned about it. But let's not do this "we are the world" shit because we're just a group.
I would sing it, but I don't want to get flagged. Okay, Miss Shay, what do you have?
I was just saying, this is the exact reason why I don't understand why Black women are even concerned about this.
Well, they're concerned because
you're fighting. They asked me a question, so I'm just answering. I'm just saying, you are fighting a battle by yourself. There's no counterpart that's fighting with you, so I don't understand why you're doing it.
The counterpart is the one that you're fighting against. But I want to address Olivia's statement.
Excuse me, I was.
Oh, I didn't know.
She did ask me, so yeah.
I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't.
So bad. I really do.
No, I'm just saying. In order, a race is made up. No, I'm just saying a race as a people is made up with both men and women. Okay, if only the women are concerned about this, how far are you going to get?
Can I answer that? Can I answer that question?
I'll answer it for Archer.
No. Let me jump in here right quick because the men are concerned, but you refuse to submit and listen.
You're not concerned. You literally said you're not concerned.
There's an action for there's a reaction for every action. Your action as women, we're not going to submit. We're not going to listen to our men. We don't respect them, and this is the reaction to that. Black men have been concerned about the state of Black America for years. Now that SYSBM is popping off, now all this other stuff is popping off. It's not popping off for no reason. This just didn't come out of nowhere. There's a reason.
Okay,
for
you
this.
have a bunch. You have a whole industry of people basically saying that the womb that births the race is the least valuable on Earth.
Yes.
If you call that fighting for a race or a group, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fighting because that's like a coach.
That's not fighting. You gave up, and that's fine.
No.
Admit it.
No, this is the reason
Just
why.
Admit it.
Let me finish. This is the reason why a coach doesn't go into the locker room and tell the team who's been rebounding terribly, "You're great rebounders." You point out what the actual truth is. If you're the worst rebounding team in the league, or you're the worst team at doing something, you have the worst value. And if you won't respect
the coach also doesn't go into the other locker room and say, "Hey, this is exactly what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and be on your side. You're the best. You're the greatest."
No, he quits.
That's literally what you're doing. That's what he said. So
gets a new
just
job.
admit it.
He quits and get a new job. That's what.
Okay, you quit.
Get a
and
new
we
job.
agree you have.
And
that's why you should just leave it alone. I'm just saying, as far as Black women go, leave it alone.
Cooperation from
There's nothing to respect. There is nothing to respect.
So why are you mad?
It's a wrap. It's over.
We actually
move on to something different. They're trying to have you work on this damn hamster wheel to nowhere. They've made up their mind. They're literally telling you this every opportunity they get on every single platform that's ever been created on God's earth. They are telling you this. Listen to them. That's it. Listen. Stop trying to change their minds. Stop trying to fight a battle by yourself. It's a wrap. Move on. That's it.
Okay. So that being said,
wait. So to Miss J's point, because I do absolutely agree. She actually has very valid points about this is what's being said on most platforms. Being that Black women don't have the same options as Black men do as it pertains to interracial dating, how do you feel like that problem would be solved?
Okay.
I wanted Miss J to answer that, and then I want you to get in Game Changer.
It's not going to be solved doing the same thing we're doing now. You up there trying to fight the cops and telling the whole world, "Look, I'm fighting for you." They're trying to kill you, and I'm the only one standing up. And they literally looking in your face and telling you, "I didn't tell you to do that."
See, but I don't think that the men in this space are representative of Black men as a whole. I know Black men who value Black women. I even visit platforms with Black men talking about how much they value Black women.
Black men, only group of men that call you gods.
On here, we keep going after the same people or talking to the same people who keep telling you over and over and over exactly what they feel about you. And I don't understand why we keep thinking having this conversation is going to get anywhere. We know exactly how they feel. They keep saying it. So at what point in time do you not accept that that's how they genuinely feel?
Right. I mean, no, please leave.
That's how some feel. That ain't how all feel.
Okay,
like
but
I
I'm
said,
saying the ones who don't feel like that, have a conversation with them. But I'm saying
not
you're
all,
talking about SYSBM. The SYSBM people have made up their mind. There's no point in you keep going back and forth with them. They've made up their mind. Let them go.
You know what I was looking at it as? I was just thinking, because when we saw the teen boys with this exact same message, and this is kind of like a widespread thing with this message, and the girls don't even have a chance to fully develop before they're being told that they're not good enough, or that that boys prefer other races of women over them. Is there a way to solve that problem?
No,
Because
it's
the
up to
adults
those
are
individual
May I
boys.
speak,
It's up to those individual boys to change their mind. That's
Okay.
all there is to it.
Offer them a better product.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Offer them
Hold
a
on a
better
second here.
product.
I mean, y'all
There's
see
nothing to offer. Okay.
But wait a minute. We're leaving out another variable. Maybe it's a black female cultural thing at work here.
I said that in the beginning.
If we got by Concrete Rose's own testimony, her own son, good guy, not a loser, got a lot going for him. If he's saying it, then maybe it's another variable at work here. Maybe the issue is that black women that's irrespective of age or generation, they just have a different way of doing things.
Okay, but fighting with SYSBM people is not going to change it. That's my whole point.
But the question,
you're fighting people is not going to change their mind.
But your point falls outside of the question. The question isn't should we try to change the SYSBM mind. The question is, should black women be concerned that now you got young black men going in the same direction as older black men?
Yeah,
Totally agree, old man.
And this is the problem. The thing, and that's why we brought up the question. If we're seeing this from young boys, and we still are raising young black women, we're still raising young girls, we're still raising kids out here. It may not be in mass, but they're still kids. And so if you have a mindset that's already being instilled in them, and this is from the fucking bottom up, like what the fuck?
Can I answer, please?
Okay, so telling girls to only pursue boys who don't like them will solve the problem.
Maybe it's the women. Okay. See, nobody.
Yeah, Obsidian, but we kind of identified some of the problems with black women. But now I'll say this.
No, you have.
Yeah, actually, we did Game Changer.
Yeah,
we talked
that
about
was the
at the
premise
beginning
of our
of the
intro.
stream.
We highlighted that.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. Shout out to Eisen. He says women wanted Big Daddy government to be the man of the household. Black women fought into feminism that white women started, and this is the effect. It's been done. Thank you so much, Eisen. Shout out to Olivia. She says no nation is going to accept large numbers of outside black men into their country. At a certain point, you'll get a hostile reaction from those nations' men. You know
why
what?
is Olivia even concerned about that? That's my whole point. Why are we concerned about that particular part? There are other things that black women can be concerned about than that.
Because I think she's still trying to say that.
But I'm saying that tactic doesn't work.
I
that tactic doesn't work. Saying the police are going to kill you, we're the only ones who understand you, does not work. You need to try something different. That's my whole point.
It's not going to work. Can I speak?
Let's get Game Changer here first, and then we'll get Obsidian.
Can I speak?
Damn.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Miss J, you're talking about what doesn't work. You want to know what does work? A blowjob. Suck some penis. All right.
Well, apparently we're whores, and that's all we do. So that's not an option. That's all we do, according to some.
That's the beginning of a list of stuff.
We're the easiest people to have sex with.
Please do not interrupt. George, could you take care of this?
How does that make sense?
I interrupted her. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So, to begin with, be more submissive. Be what y'all shame both young and old women from being. Be a pick-me. Be more pick-me. Read Danika's book, Submission is Not the Enemy, a key factor to a healthy relationship. Read stuff like that. In fact, I will read it to you. Page 1. If you are a woman reading this book, you're in
your early 40s with a submissive black woman and you're not married.
Could you
So why are we taking your advice?
Could you talk to this woman, please?
No,
Sister George.
Okay.
Now, thank you. Thank you.
What I
Even
was
if you
gonna say
interrupted-
is we don't need. Well, what I was gonna say too, we don't need you to read the book. I think we got the gist of what you're talking about. But you know, make your point
she
and
was
move
about
on.
to. She was about.
He doesn't even take.
Yeah,
his
she's
own
gonna have to
advice.
make. Well,
That's my whole point.
Miss J, let him make his point so we can move on.
Okay. Now, once again, where was I? Oh, page 1. All right. So, if you're a woman reading this book, you more than likely view submission as outdated, degrading, unnecessary, belittling term and practice that needs to be done away with forever. So basically what she's doing is she's stating the Black female culture as it presently exists. Now, unfortunately, the young ladies are a victim of a culture that your mothers and your foremothers have set into place for them. It's unfortunate, but true. And the only way out of it is to change the culture. Now, because you're still alive, you can do that. Instead of her shaming a young lady and calling her pick-me for catering to the needs of her man, why don't you encourage her to do so? That will increase the collective vaginal value of Black women. Secondly, you asked the question, about races and, how men have more options Black men have more options with other race than Black women do. I've never known anybody to compare sexual opportunity or mating options between different genders. Like a Black man can compare himself to an Asian man, a Black man can compare himself to white men, but under no fair circumstance could a man ever count mating options between man and woman. Sister George and Concrete Rose and any woman on this panel, I'm sure if we both went to a nighty event, you would walk out with more penis than I would vagina if you were so inclined. So let's not go there. Your complaints are going on deaf ears because it's a sexually wealthy person complaining to a sexually less wealthy person. So that being said, lastly, I want to say, as a suggestion technique, protesting and sympathy can miss me with all that. That does nothing for your value to me as an individual mate. And it doesn't do anything to your value of any man. Are you offering that instead of for yoga, instead of for exercising, instead of for cutting up carrots for the kids' soccer practice? Is that what you are offering instead? Is that what you're offering? Because Asian women are offering raising their boys to become doctors. Latin women are offering, all of the particulars that go with their stereotype, and so are white women. And you're offering, so basically what you're saying is that as long as you're treated like crap in this country, you get us as a prize? Just like the other man, I do not get pulled over, therefore your marching does nothing for me. If you're not attractive and 82% of you are fat, and you lack the personality and the disposition to be an attractive mate, then let's face it, it's not going to be that. And lastly, you say, why do you care? Why do you care if we leave and blah, 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 blah. I would suggest that there are men who are on some queen, oh my queen stuff. I wonder why come here instead of for there and get with one of those guys who are queen, oh my queen. Please. I mean, they're obviously deify you.
Okay.
Let me get these super chats out. Shout out to B. It says many of those young Black boys in that video you played are likely raised by a single mama. What is her role in her sons not wanting a woman in mom's image? Thank you so much, B. And shout out to C. Boy. Shout out to C.
I'm a man.
Okay, well, man. Jesus Christ.
At least they do.
Shout out to 757 Prime Time. Why do women call a woman who call a woman who respect a Black man a pick me? LOL. All women are pick me's one way or the other. Thank you so much, 757 Prime Time. Who else is next? Because we getting ready to wrap this up. Y'all doing this.
Isn't this whole conversation a pick me conversation? Why are you leaving? Pick me. And another, Huh?
Say what?
Isn't this whole conversation a pick me conversation? Why are you leaving, black men? You should pick me.
You know what?
Good question.
I wouldn't say it was for the women more so, but it's for the younger women. But whoever Mervin is, I want to get them in so they can speak.
So pick me's
No, game changer. I said Mervin.
Oh yeah, he was still on mute.
Oh yeah, give him a second. Jesus Christ. Okay, Mervin, you still there? Okay, Mervin's not there. Go ahead, game changer.
Okay, so pick-me's, as it's defined, are women who improve themselves so they can't get picked. They don't try to explain to men why they should pick them, and the basis of stuff that they explain isn't something as trite as there exists a woman somewhere who is marching for you after you die. That is not seductive. Victoria's Secret is a better option. Obsidian, I think that's you that's echoing.
Yo, Miss George, I'm gonna say one thing and I'm gonna jump off. The reason why, and I'm gonna keep answering, I'm gonna answer Miss J's question, why do you guys care? The reason why you care is because it's a trend. And this is the reason why, and I think women understand trends. Yes, like wise men said, allegedly, that some but not all black men feel this way, but it's a growing number. And when a trend is occurring, you try to counter the trend as it's occurring. You don't wait till it's finished. So that's really what black women are doing in this part. They're trying to curve the trend, but they're curving it with rhetoric instead of action. If you want black men to start buying your product more, the way to stop this trend of them buying somebody else's product is to improve your product, not to shame them, not this Buy America crap. The Buy America crap didn't work back when Americans were buying Toyotas instead of American-made cars. American-made cars only start getting bought again when America started producing better cars. Black women are only going to start getting picked again when they start producing better women. It's that simple. Produce a better product and you get more customers.
I think that was an excellent point, Archer. Thank you so much.
Hey,
can I say what I gotta say and then I can leave?
Who? Mervin, is that you?
Nah, that's me. That's me, a wise man. Hey, I just wanted to say something and then I could go. I appreciate y'all letting me on the panel. Real quick, I'm probably more biased than everybody here on the subject of this because I'm more pro-black than anything. I guess I'm one of those brothers that want to save the black community, but I'll say this, I don't think that it's an issue. That's why SBM is an issue with other races and other people going abroad. It's gonna stay here. It ain't going nowhere. We one of the hardest people to get rid of first. And to clear out a couple of things real quick, I never said all black men. I said some dudes. And is to answer Obsidian, I wasn't saying that you shouldn't get what you want. You should get what you want and what you deserve, like every other man. I'm just saying that what you want may not be available to you all the time. You know, I may want Michelle Obama, but she married to Barack and I can't have her. I mean, it's just what it is. And so, peace to everybody. Much love. I'm out.
Wise man.
Thank you so much, wise man, for joining us. We really appreciate that. Game changer, what do you have?
No, I was going to ask wise man something, but you know, it doesn't really matter now.
Okay.
Well, I would like to say that while Game Changer's phrasing is a bit inelegant, his point nevertheless is a powerful one. And Archer, I have to agree with him as well. Again, I have to reiterate this. This thing strikes close to home. It's no longer just an arid academic point, an abstract situation happening online. This hits close to home. In Concrete Rose's own life, she's seeing this play itself out in her own home with her own son. So that really does, obliterate all the previous talking points about SYSBM and all the rest of it. You have to deal with another variable now. It's not these weirdo loser black men now. No. It's something about black women. And the bottom line is this: it's a part of the black female ethos to be sassy, to be independent, to not want to bow down to nobody. That's fine. But you see the result. More and more brothers just say, you know what? I don't listen, man. You can do what you want to do. I'm done. And if black women want a different result, they got to improve the product. Shaming black men won't work. Guilting black men won't work. Trying to warn them about who else don't want you and they don't understand you and all this other stuff. Just improve the product. HIIT workouts, Pilates, yoga, being cooperative, being agreeable.
Being a pygmy.
I mean, Jesus. I mean, we're seeing this with young black women now. So you can't just, it's something in the water with black women themselves, and only they can fix it. And I honestly don't think a lot of black women want to fix it. They like it the way it is.
Obsidian, I think you made some excellent points. Unfortunately, I don't I'm not even going to say that I want to dispute them, but you make some excellent points. There's nothing to be said about that. Yeah, I hate that it's like that. Who Maximo 83? What do you have? Okay, Mervin, are you there? Because I'm gonna drop you guys from the panel. Okay, and Maximo 83, you just came up here. Do you have anything? Okay. Well,
can I ask a question though that still hasn't been answered?
Sure.
Okay. For all these people who are with non-black women, they're getting all these nice, submissive, feminine black women. Are these women becoming wives?
In time they will.
Sure. Okay.
See, we don't know if these women will become wives. We just know that if you continue with your present course of behavior, you won't. And
okay, but I'm saying they're doing all these things and they're getting the same results that black women have,
right.
Which is
and
they're having sex,
and
that's it.
Ms. J,
So-
men are rightly apprehensive. Black men are rightly apprehensive about marrying these women because our greatest fear of life is that the women that we marry, the international women that we marry, turns out to be like you. And I think that really says something about what you are. Like, we are skittish, because I know I am. I am skittish that my girl will one day become you, which means that you, as you stand, you start off as a worst case scenario for me and those who think like me. So yeah, and that's what I mean when I say last place as far as, vaginal worth.
Exactly, Brown Becky.
So let me say this to what Game Changer said as a person on here who is married to a non-ADOS black woman. I totally get what he is saying. It took me a couple of years to not be quote unquote gun shy or shell shocked is the better reference. Always waiting for the other shoe to drop from the relationships that I had experienced in Black America. It took me a couple of years to realize that my wife ain't like that. She's socialized in a different way. Now, I'm not saying she never became affected by, Western American culture, but by the time she got here, she was already, over 30 years old. So certain type of shit that she's just not gonna adapt to. Okay. It was years before my wife pumped her own gas. It was years before my wife would drive anywhere with me in her presence. I was always the one driving. And so my role as a man and my position in the house is different. I have I have more purpose than I do with an ADOS American black woman because first of all, they don't want to relinquish that kind of control. And it's okay. I'm all right with it. I understand how y'all get down. Don't be mad. Do how you do. But stop. If you don't want to live like that, just say it. You know what? I don't want to live like that. I don't want to do what white women do. I don't want to do what Latinas and Asian women do. We are independent. We rock how we rock. Just say it. It's okay.
You know what though? I think the long-term effects is going to be a thing that is what's really going to play out, because I don't think women are looking at the long-term effects of women not having counterparts and husbands and what that does for society and how that builds nations and it strengthens a community. I don't think we're looking at the long-term effects of it. Hopefully we'll see. But shout out to 757 Prime Time. He says it's Facebook groups full of black men married to foreign chicks. So I guess it's a growing thing now. It is absolutely a growing thing now. Let me get Maximo in. Wait a minute. Let me get Maximo in. He says his mic is working. Maximo, what do you have?
First of all, I just want to say what's up to everyone, and I'm going to say that I'm a black man that's almost 40 years old, and I'm from the South. I don't really see any race of women out there that can compete with the sisters. I just really don't see that. I mean, I know everybody has their opinion.
Wait a minute. Let him speak.
I mean, the beautiful black sisters out there, I don't see nobody stepping to the panel to them at all. And I've been around for almost 40 years. I just don't see it.
Okay.
I'm married to one.
Wait a minute, Game Changer. The person DJ, I want you to go next.
Hey, what's up, Sister George? Yeah, so I'm a younger cat, I can just talk about my experiences being younger, 25, 26. So,
same age.
Right. So what I'm seeing nowadays is a little background for me is I'm, quote unquote, what the black manosphere calls the good black men. So grew up with, mom and dad in the household, upper middle, income, 3 degrees, all that other stuff. What's going to happen and what a lot of people are going to see is they're starting to get the quote unquote good black men early. So for example, for me, I started interracially dating at 7, 8 years old because that's what I was around. So but it wasn't just that, but the problem for a lot of sisters is that I had a lot of good experience and treatment from women outside of my race. So as I got older, what kind of happened was I started to associate those good experiences not with sisters but with other women. So what you're going to start seeing nowadays is a lot of brothers when they quote unquote leave the black community, they don't come back because they are getting better treatment. This is why you have a lot of brothers sitting up here that are constantly saying, brothers that care about the black community, that actually want to see intact families, they keep saying the same things over and over again because we are getting better treatment when we go outside of race. For the most part, I can't talk about most, but my experiences, to be honest, white women have treated me incredible. So
rats.
Listen to the brothers. So when the brothers are actually saying hey, we just want better treatment, that's all we really want. Brothers really mean that because we are getting better treatment outside of our race, to be honest, a lot of the time.
Matt, may I ask a question?
Yeah, what's up, Game Changer?
No, this thanks to Jerry, but this question is to Maximo. Maximo, when you say other groups of women cannot compete with the Black American women, on what basis? Are we talking beauty? Are we talking behavior? Are we talking hair follicles? Or what are we talking about? In what area can they not compete with Black American women? I'm curious. Income? In what area? Health? Child rearing?
Let him answer the question.
Well, he's still on mute, so you're not giving him an opportunity. But let's go for it. Go for it. You see how that silence suggests something.
No, the silence only suggests that his microphone. There he goes.
Who's that? Are you referring to me?
Yeah. A question.
Now, see, the thing that I really have to say, I know like a lot of guys are really into the Beckys, but if you mess up with Becky, guess what? You're going to end up catching a felony. That's kind of how I feel. You know, like, make a long story short, like you mess up with Becky, you're going to be seeing yourself with a little record in your hand, but I feel like the sisters are more reasonable. They easy to get along with. You know, you can talk to them. I mean, you know, like sisters are very down to earth. I love black women. I'm gonna be honest.
Excuse me. These are all very nebulous things, you know, because all women are easy to talk to. In fact, most people are easy to talk to when you yourself are easy to talk to. So that doesn't really equate. And are you saying that a virtue of black women is that they're less protected under the law than white women? So we should stick our penis in them because they're less protected under the law? Is that what your brain conjured up as far as when a selling point for black women? Are you telling me that?
Wait a minute, game changer. You can't ask him a question. He's having a few mics.
He's still muting. Okay.
Jesus Christ. But no.
I can't. Oh, my fault, Sister George. My bad. I'm sorry.
So well, there he goes.
Game changer.
You know, I'm not really saying anything like that. The only thing I'm saying is that, you know, Becky's are very fragile, and if you like make a little scream or scratch, they gon' call the cops on you. That's all I'm saying.
Whoa, okay.
I've been in a state where it was nothing but white people. Like West Virginia for 8 years, almost 10 years. So I know how they act.
So Maximo, are you?
I'm just telling facts right now.
Hold on, Marsh. So Maximo, so you're telling me that a virtue of black women is that they're less likely to call the cops when you cause them physical harm?
Well, you know it's gonna end up coming up sooner or later. You know,
you always end up causing women physical harm. Is that what you're saying?
Wait a minute, Nah. Wait a minute.
Oh no, you know, like this can just be like a regular argument, and they act like that.
Black women.
What? No, white women.
So,
white women.
So
yes.
Okay. So according to
have you ever dated a white woman?
According to you,
then how do you know?
Yeah, I think you're just making this up.
Nah, it's just like this. If you raise your voice in any kind of way to a white woman and come at them wrong like that, this can just be your voice, no hands.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. What's her name? Well, let's do this. What's her name? Name the white woman who done this.
A lot of them.
Okay, I asked for names.
Like the Christinas, the Tammys, and all those kind of white women.
Okay, let me give you first and last names. All right, let me give you a situation. Brian Banks, Clarence Thomas, Mike Tyson, etc. Every brother who's been in child support ever has had the cops called on them. Bill Cosby. Should I continue?
Yo, can I respond to that right quick, Game Changer? I know you.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Shout
out
out
you,
to
Sister
Zero.
George. Damn you.
I'm so tired of y'all. Shout out to Zero. He says, I want to hear more from the Southern Fried Panda Bear. He uses better words. Sisters versus Becky's.
Let me get in here real quick. Let me get in here real quick.
This is like,
you know what we're gonna do.
Just basically just saying that this is just my opinion. I just feel like black women are better.
I feel you, Maximo. Let me get in here so I can dip out.
The bread is in the pudding. You know, the sisters are better.
I feel you, Maximo.
Pudding. What's the bread doing in the pudding?
I know. What the hell?
Getting soggy, nigga. Getting soggy.
Where?
Yeah, let me get in here real quick, man. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this on the topic real quick because I ain't gonna be here for long. Thank you, Sister George, for letting me up, even though I ain't shit.
I ain't shit, nigga. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, you too, Archer. But yeah. Pretty much, I feel like on the topic, black women don't have to worry about SYSBM because they got plenty of slow ass pookies to still procreate with. So
they don't want them. They don't want them.
Yeah,
so
they do.
you like pudding sandwiches?
Pudding sandwiches.
Oh Lord, I don't like y'all.
Hey, has your girl ever made you a pudding sandwich?
What the fuck is the bread and the pudding mean?
Y'all never heard of bread pudding before?
You ain't never had
Can I say? Can I say this?
So there's places in this country where they just put bread and pudding and stir.
No, never mind. Anyway, let me read these super chats and I'm gonna get y'all up out of here. But shout out to Black Wizard. He says we don't need each other anymore, and nothing survives without a purpose. Things in this world come and go as technology brings humanity closer. Race will be one of those things. For the race to survive, it needs a reason to. Thank you so much, Black Wizard. And shout out to Alan Roger Curry, Baby Maker 3000. He says, when I was a single womanizing bachelor. Yes, Solomon? Actually, it's going quite tumultuous right now. Everybody is working your mama's nerves, but we getting ready to get them up out of here. All right, thank you. All right. Shout out to Alan Roger Curry. He says, when I was a single womanizing bachelor back in 2016, 2017, and 2018, my haters and harsh critics would say, if ARC adores Black women so much, why hasn't he been married to one? Now, nothing but silence. Drops Mike Mode 1 for life.
I think that would be a good point. I think that would be a good counterpoint to Ms. J, because she was the one that was talking earlier about Black men marrying and stuff like that. My personal take on it as a resident confirmed bachelor here is that I have no intention of marrying any woman. And I'll tell you that within minutes of first meeting. If you need to get married, we can end this right here. I have no intention of getting married. Moreover, I would say to Ms. J, and I don't know if she's aware of this or not, but polls have been done, NPR in particular, that indicated that Black men want to get married more than Black women do.
That's true.
So NPR.
Yes, NPR. Yes.
Was it a self-reporting poll?
I can give you the information.
Can I prove the point now?
What I would like to say in relation to that is that the marital bar has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. Being attractive, being cooperative, being submissive, that should not be contingent on whether you want to put a ring on it or not. Because if that was the truth, all the other women wouldn't be the same way. Black women just keep finding reasons and excuses not to compete.
Sister George, Sister George, have you ever been proposed to before?
Yes. I'm actually on my third proposal. We're heading toward my first marriage.
Okay. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Ooh, throw the bouquet, baby. But anyway.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say something real quick.
Let me finish my fucking point. Let me finish my point.
Hold on, Archer. Go ahead.
Let me finish my point. They just said Black men don't want to get married, but I guarantee you, every woman on this panel has been proposed to at least 3 times. And have turned most of them down. I haven't been
proposed to 3 times.
How many times have you been proposed to?
2.
Okay.
Listen, you said it.
Have you turned them both down?
One, not directly.
Okay, whatever. All right. So how can Black women get up here and say Black men don't want to get married when every Black woman in her lifetime has a proposal story? You all have proposal stories that you've turned down, which proves the point. Black man wants to get married more than you do.
Yeah, that don't prove the wall though.
But anyway,
I'm just saying. But we're masculine. We're fat. We have children out of wedlock. You want to marry us?
No, I don't. Somebody did.
Okay, but I'm saying as a collective. I'm saying as a collective.
I haven't proposed.
Okay, I'm saying as a collective. As a collective. Let me correct myself. As a collective.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then as a collective, you date out. You find submissive. I'm saying as a collective, the ones who the SYSBM, the ones who are doing it, you get the submissive, feminine, childless women, and you don't marry them. Okay.
Obviously, but listen to
Pablo, how long have you been married?
Black folks.
Excuse me. How long have you been married?
I've been married for 7 years. Game changer.
Would you say Black men don't want to get married?
I said as a collective. You're not making any sense. You have to pick one or the other.
SYSBM is some.
Well, I mean, you're making an accusation.
One at a time.
You have to pick a narrative. You can't keep going back and forth with that because it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Archer. Hold on. Let Archer finish his point, and then we'll
let him talk. Let him talk. Go ahead.
Okay.
Never left.
Like Wise Seaman said.
Wise man.
You know what? Stop being rude.
It's some black men and a growing number, but a majority still want to marry you. I don't understand why, but a majority on the black women are queen. And those guys keep proposing to you and you keep turning them down. Now, if you want to talk about the some that you guys keep pointing out as some, because every time you make a panel, you always want to make it clear that it's some, not all. So when you talk about the group you are referring to on this damn panel, yes, they don't want to marry you. And they are not obligated to marry. They're not obligated to marry any other group of women because they've learned from it. They've learned.
But I think that's so great that you're upfront with it.
You're not part of that sum. They've learned from They've learned their lesson from black women. Marriage is not a private.
The blacker the bear, the sweeter the juice.
I support SYSBM. I support you guys.
Oh, yeah,
I think you should be upfront with it.
One more thing.
It's important that you tell us upfront.
And to the dude that said white women will call the police on you. Let's get one thing correct: 70% of domestic violence cases are not reported in America. Black men get their police called on them by black women more than any other race of women, even though they commit the least amounts of domestic crime. You are more likely to get a domestic violence charge on you if you date a black woman than anybody else, because black women use the police force.
That is extremely incorrect.
Black women weaponize the police. Black women do weaponize the police. However, majority of black men date black women, so you can't. There's no way to quantify that men are more likely. There's no way to quantify that.
The brother who just said white women will call the police on you just told us a story about how a black woman called the police on him.
Black women do weaponize the police. I would never deny that. I know that they do.
I never said.
They do keep a stats on what people are arrested for. So I mean, I don't know why
they keep a stat on what people are arrested for, but 70% of domestic violence. Okay.
Is that
majority of people are not arrested for domestic violence anyway? It's drug possession. It's not even domestic violence; it's drug possession.
Goes right to what I said about the NPR study. It proves that the majority of black men do want to be married. It's black women that don't, and that was proven right here on this panel.
Whatever.
So
let me read the super chat.
That black men don't want to get married. That's not true, and we need to stop saying it, and we need to get back to the argument of why aren't black women competing?
Let me read the super chat from Eisen Sama real quick. Thank you, Eisen. Eisen says, why do we associate color with race and not culture? All humans are only 0.12% or 0.8% different genetically. Culture is the difference.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eisen. We appreciate you. I'm going to keep focusing on race, though.
Concrete, tell them to wrap this up.
We're gonna actually move to wrap it up. This has been a dope panel, so interesting and so funny. I want to start with Brown Becky because I haven't heard from her in a while. Brown Becky, what are your comments on the topic or what you've heard or anything, child? Are you there, Brown Becky?
I can't hear her.
She ain't said nothing yet.
I can't either. We'll come back. We'll come back to her. Let's go. Oh, Brown Becky? It looks like she went off mute. Okay, can you hear us? Okay, she may be having some technical difficulties.
Go out and come back in.
How about O'Shea?
Baby, let Archer go. Let Archer go.
I'm on
what are your final thoughts, baby?
My final thoughts.
Go ahead, Archer.
My final thoughts is okay. What are my final thoughts? Damn, why you put me on the spot? Okay.
Because your ass is disruptive. Go ahead.
Always, but it's funny.
I ain't shit. You should have known that from the jump. Goddamn. Okay. First of all, black women. When you are on point, you're on point as far as looks go. When you're on point with your attitude, you're on point. But the problem is a majority of you are not on point. And younger black men are waking up and they're realizing this. Now, this space and these movements are not for the men who want to leave. This is to educate other black men so they can be informed. So they don't go into this stuff thinking you are the queens and you are some type of prize he should worship. Really what they're doing is they're preaching. Black men are not really talking to you. They're talking to younger black men. And Sister George, give your son a high five for me because that man's on the right path. He's on the right path. And that's all I got to say. And I'm dead serious. Give him a high five, bro. Give him a high five.
Thank you so much.
I'm
I
out.
appreciate you, Archer.
Thank you, Archer. We appreciate you. How about O'Shea Lennox? What are your final comments on the topic?
Oh, and Game Changer O'Shea Lennox left a delicious recipe for bread pudding in the back. So you be sure to check that out.
Okay, go ahead, O'Shea.
All right, look, I would reiterate the point that, yeah, I believe it's true, and to a point, I know it's true that, excuse me, that more black men are willing to get married than black women, and I'm just gonna say that about my own family, because most of the black men in my family have been married, and some of them have been married more than once. A lot of the black women in my family, especially the younger ones, have not been married. Now, with that being said,
men propose, but
hold on, I'm interrupting. I'm sorry, I know you host. I'm interrupting. Now, going back to what Miss J asked, a very beautiful question about the black men who are dating out about them being married to those foreign women, those non-ADOS women. And Game Changer said no, because I'm afraid that they may become westernized in a sense. That's what he said. Now, to me, what they're saying is, if these black men saying ADOS women are not worth marrying, but other women are, but yet they're not marrying those other women, then basically it says to me that they don't look somewhere inside them that they don't feel like they are capable of having a beautiful marriage in no situation. Thank you, and I'm out. You have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank
O'Shea.
you
We
so much,
appreciate you. You're so funny to me.
I mean, the divorce rates prove it correct.
Can I respond to that? I mean, and this will be
You
my
want to go
last
ahead and
thought.
do your final commentary, Pablo?
Yeah. So right before I came up, you had a guy on there named Mervin, and he couldn't speak, but Mervin is one of the passport bros. He is a member of.
Oh wow, I would have liked to hear from him.
He is a member of our passport bros group. He is a Black American man who is married to a Dominican woman. So here's the deal. I recognize, and a lot of the brothers in my group recognize that Black American women have a brand of masculinity that they favor. It's okay. You hear it night after night sometimes on Kevin Samuel's show. One of the more disturbing things, though, is this: it's not the brand of masculinity that they like. One of the most disturbing things is that there are women who are subpar, right? Who may be overweight. They got multiple children out of wedlock. They're not that attractive, and they want men making in the top 5 to 8 percentile of income, and it's totally unrealistic. They don't want average working men. That is one of the major problems into why I ended up having to marry a woman from another culture, because because a comparable woman of my own group was not interested in me like that. You hear it on his channel every night. They tell you, I want that guy. I don't want him. He ain't good enough. It's okay. I'm telling you, it's okay.
Interesting. Pablo, thank you so much for your commentary. That's definitely a different perspective too. One that, I personally hadn't been thinking about. And I'm just going to say this. I know we're in final comments, but I don't know if women, I know that women typically, even when we age, we still visualize ourselves in our prime. So, if we were a dime or, a 10 back in the day, and we visualize and we basically kind of still have that same persona as if we can still make the same types of demands that we were once able to make. And, that's possible regarding what these women or how these women view themselves regarding why they're making such high demands, or maybe they just feel like they're worth it. Who knows?
Well, then stop calling us traitors. Stop calling black men race traitors and shit like that. You don't want them like that. It's all right.
well, I think anybody who dates interracially is treasonous, but you know, I don't call anyone race traitors per se, but that's just my personal opinion. But I also wanted to go ahead then and get Brown Becky in here, or let me get Maximo in here, and then we'll get Brown Becky.
Okay, I'm gonna just wrap it up by saying I don't even think it should be a phrase out there to say that black women should be worried. I don't even think that no one come close to black women. You know, I have 2 degrees, so I mean, I'm not a Pookie and Ray Ray. I got 2 degrees, and you know, I kind of feel like black women are like the top. You know, they reigning champions. They winning. They knocking them out. KO. Black women forever. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Maximo. We appreciate you. You can come up here anytime.
He said he ain't talking about no deodorant too.
Brown Becky, what are your final comments, dear?
I agreed with. I have the same mindset of Miss J as far as they're telling you how they feel. It's genuine from the bottom of their soul. From the dark depths of their soul. So I just think we need to just stop begging. We just need to stop. That's it. It's too late, like I said. If there was any chance of saving anything, I think it would have been done like maybe sometime in the 80s before a lot of us millennials were born, which were, you know, starting at what, the end of the 80s, like 89, 90, whatever, 85. But that's not what happened. So there's nothing to salvage much. I do understand Concrete Rose's stance because, you know, she said she does care, which I mean, naturally, you would care about your own community, your own race, obviously. I guess my view is different simply because I feel like with non-ADOS parents, it's 50-50. Either they're very tribal and they do only want you to stay within your own group.
You're West Indian?
Yeah, but this pertains to Africans too, obviously. West Indians are tribal too. I feel like everyone outside of America is, well, Black America is tribal.
I agree. We're very tribal.
I feel like Black Americans,
even Black America, we are still tribal to a degree, but
not
the same.
Not to the same extent,
right?
Though. Everyone else it's a lot, you know, it's a lot deeper. And like I saw, I think it was Sister George who was replying to, his name is Ray something in the chat room, where he was mentioning the Mexican men going after Black men for trying to date their women and et cetera, et cetera. That's tribalism right there. You know, a lot of men do that. I see it a lot. I've seen it a lot growing up in New York. They don't play these games. They really don't. So yeah, they are tribal and they want you to stick to whomever, whether you're from the islands or not, doesn't matter. Or they don't really care who you date. My parents were the latter. They didn't really care. They care about how much money he makes, though. They care about his upbringing, background. So, you know, growing up in my mother's head, it was you're marrying a doctor, an engineer, and that's it. That's all there is to it. She never said he had to be a West Indian doctor, engineer. They don't care. They just care, you know, about if he's a provider or not, which I do think Black American women can benefit from, like, you know, take that part of the culture, because they're not taught to be, I guess, if you want to call that hypergamous. All other groups, you're taught from young, you know, you're going to get an XYZ guy so he can provide for you. Why? Because your parents don't want to see your ass on the street. So like Ms. J said, open your ears, pay attention, stop begging. You look stupid. You look dumb. I want these little girls to stop begging too. Like that video I saw on Instagram with the 19-year-old asking guys, do you like Black women? And, you know, she was asking a bunch of guys. It was a mixture of Black men and non-Black men. And it looks stupid. And I know she's 19. The guys she was asking were like in their early 20s. You can tell they're like college freshmen.
Actually, they're in high school. She was in high school at the time of that video.
Yeah, if you're talking about the same video that we showed, yeah.
Yeah, the New York girl going around with a microphone asking. So, I thought she graduated.
Yeah, she just graduated though, but she literally just had her prom. Like she had her prom and.
Oh, okay. So she's pretty much like my brother, just graduated in the summertime. Well, still, like I said, it still stands. These Black women need to just stop. Need to stop begging. It looks stupid. We gain nothing from it. It seems like we're looking for validation when it comes to asking these men, do you like Black women?
Brown Becky, are you
what type of Black women? Like, y'all just
they want to be prized for being a mule, which doesn't make any sense. Nobody prizes a mule.
Brown Becky, are you Black?
No, I'm
why
white.
Why are you saying we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm white. But Ms. J.
So if you're East Indian,
wait, GC. This was the middle of the final comments. Now, if you want to,
how long is final comments? Because she's been going on for quite some time.
Well,
GC, we let you go on for 15 minutes.
Let her finish. She hasn't really chimed in on the conversation, so she probably had a lot to get out. So let her finish up her final comments.
Yeah, Ms. J. I don't know if you want to call a 19-year-old a mule. I guess I'm fair in that extent where she is young. I was like that too when I was 19. So it is what it is. Now I'm done. This white woman is going to go and just chill and listen to everybody else.
Thank you, Brown Becky. We appreciate you. Thank you for giving your perspective, dear.
She's the first white woman we've ever had on the panel.
I know, right? It's the first. Obsidian, what are your final comments on the topic?
Yeah, I want to just reiterate something here. Going from Pablo, who is in his 50s, early 50s, to Concrete Rose's son, who is not even 20, we see the same phenomena going on. And that says something. And I know it's going to be very difficult for a lot of Black women to accept. When you've eliminated the probable, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. All Black men can't be wrong here. The question becomes, what are Black women willing to do to meaningfully compete in a 21st century global open market, mating market? What are they willing to do? Seems to me Black women aren't willing to do a whole bunch of a lot. And if they're okay with the results that they're getting, they keep doing what they're doing. They have nobody to blame but themselves. Everything outside of doing what it takes to be competitive is just pissing in the wind and wasting time. These discussions need to be geared toward making Black women more competitive. Period. Or anything other than that, you're just wasting time. Or just go ahead and just flat out declare you ain't going to do shit. You're going to keep it exactly the way it is, and then you get the results you get, and you got nobody to blame but yourself. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Period. Do what it takes to compete or die. Good night. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Well, thank you so much, Obsidian. Game Changer, what do you have?
Okay, so I guess what I want to say, a couple of things, but primarily, Black women, don't be stupid again. Don't be stupid again. You were stupid in the past. I don't want it to be like generations of new stupid. Like when you have white women telling you to behave in a way that they do not behave, then that was just stupid. Following white women into feminism, and even though they didn't go all the way into it, that was stupid. And now you have another woman who I think she's East Indian telling you to just ignore this group of men and continue to behave the way that you're behaving. That's just stupid. Why are y'all letting women who are more adept at getting men than you are give you advice that they themselves will not follow. Don't do that shit again. Don't be stupid again, please. For the sake of your own daughters. They're the ones who are complaining. Don't have them do the same stupid shit that y'all did. Listen. If a man says, I don't like you in that dress, then you change the fucking dress. You don't say, oh, you see that? That's proof. That's proof he don't like me. Therefore, I'm going to leave. Or why do I care? That's just another form of stupid. And I thought that it was in you, but you're being led by a group of women that you seem to envy a lot because their vaginas is worth more. And I get it. But they are giving you advice that is not to your benefit. Don't stop begging. Beg! I want you on big both of them after freshly sucking my penis and get me a sandwich. Beg. You want to know why? Because we're worth it.
I'm about to
you won't tell us that we're worth it. We know anyway. And if you don't agree that we're worth it, then we're going to find somebody who does, and they do. Now, she is going to tell me, an engineer, that her culture only cares if a man is an engineer and that y'all should stop begging. She wants y'all to stop begging for me so she can start. That's what she's doing. Don't fall for the bullshit. All right, peace.
Oh my God.
My mouth is wide open, yo.
I can't say anything. Like,
I'm not
how do you respond to
Indian,
that?
first of all.
Right, she isn't. But
I'm a white woman, you know, because that's what
Okay,
everyone's
well,
saying.
whatever. Don't listen to women like this. No matter what the nationality, whether she's part of the sisterhood, whether she's a white feminist, do not listen to women like this. They do not have your best interest at heart. They're just trying to clear the path to my penis. That is it.
Oh, I'm sure that's exactly what she wants.
That is exactly what she wants.
Thank you, GC. We appreciate you. I think
you guys never cease to amaze me.
Oh my God.
Shout out to
came up here,
Maximo.
Go ahead.
SYSBM is stupid.
Let me finish.
I love our women. Thank you, Maximo.
Exactly.
I didn't finish. And another thing.
This food has started three
When
different
they
times.
say, when they say, you know, oh, these group of guys are protective and, you know, they don't want to see blah, 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 blah. So basically, what she is saying to you, black men, with your black penis, she's saying if you are a coward, if you fear other groups of men, then you should go to black women. You should let other men intimidate you into fucking the women that you otherwise don't want to fuck. That is what they are saying. They're saying, come over here because they'll beat you up if you go over. Fuck them. Fuck everybody else. And fuck their big brothers too. Peace.
I need an Advil after this. I never again.
Baby, I don't know why I did not have my Hennessy today.
Lord have mercy. Who do we
Roger
have,
reports. Yeah. Hey, brother Roger, long live the habitual line stepper.
Hey, Roger, thank you for coming up. I know you got some mess with you.
Long live
How much more we can take after GC?
Long live the habitual line steppers. See to you, Sister George. Greetings, Concrete Rose, and greetings to everyone else on the panel. At some point in time, you got to love yourself. That's what it really comes down to. I done said plenty of times that black women just aren't good people. It's not a secret. People know it. If black women were providing a better situation, there's other men from outside groups that would swoop in and take the black women that brothers don't want. That's not happening, and it's not happening for a reason. There's a lot of men of other groups who can't necessarily get the top women of their group, but they know they can come to the black community and get the top women from our group, but they still don't do it. The brand is so bad they won't even do it. Not on any type of large scale. Now the thing is, if you keep believing your own lies, you're gonna continue to get bad results. Black women have never fought for black men. Period. When you fight and when you protest over dead bodies, you're not fighting for black men. You're fighting for yourself because you want to seem like you're doing something important. The guy is already dead. If he wasn't valued in life, it makes no difference to him what you did after he died. He's concerned with the afterlife. He ain't concerned with what you did here. What you did here matters nothing to him. Point blank, period. So protesting for a dead body means zero. And if you keep showing black men that we're worth protesting for after we're dead, you're not saying anything positive to us either. Makes no sense. And this really ain't rocket science. If you want the men you claim you want, be what they want to be with. If you're not going to do it, stop worrying about what they're doing. You've told them what it is. You've never fought for black men like that. You've never had a situation since we've been quote unquote free, especially after the Civil Rights Act, where we had all these different options that people can take, and you ain't been trying to press being with black men. That has not been what you're doing. Year by year, y'all have become more and more separated from black men, and y'all have done everything you can as a group to disparage black men. You ain't been fighting for black men. Now, you may believe that because you want to, but there is no proof of it. Not on any type of majority level. Yes, maybe you can find a pocket of anything. But you know what? If you give me time, I can find you a man with no legs. There's always some exception to a rule. But the rule is you ain't fought for no black men. Stop believing your own lies because they don't help you. If your lies were the truth, then this conversation wouldn't be happening right now. This is a result of you not fighting for your men. Point blank, period. These younger men are doing what's in their own best interest. They grow up under women who constantly show them that black men have no value. What do you think they're going to do when they get old enough? They understand that they're trash in the black woman's eyes because their own mama think they trash. And when your own mama thinks you trash, you know trash day is coming at some point. And when you know trash day is coming, you're going to want to do one or two things. Either you're just going to sit there and let it come and just deal with what comes to it, or you're going to prepare yourself for trash day because you know you're getting thrown out because you're a black man. You're a black man that is not respected, not even by your own mother, because your mother has already proven to you by the time you're 18 years old that she don't respect a black man in general, and you just became what she doesn't respect. These guys are not idiots. Stop pretending that they're stupid. They're not. They know how to think. They know how to calculate. You prove on a daily basis they mean nothing to you. The only thing that matters to them is what you can extract from them. And you don't even want to treat them nice to extract it. Why would they want you? You got a mass of people in a generation where fathers wasn't even in the home. Yet you think they're supposed to be race loyal. They saw their mom not even like their dad. She proved to him what his dad was worth. And in her eyes, it was basically nothing. Why would he want to take a chance on you? His mama, in his mind, loves him somewhere in her heart because that's his mama. But she can barely see it with him. Why you think he gonna want to take chances with other people that ain't his mama? Y'all are basically calling these young brothers idiots. Now, you may not mean to call them idiots, but that's exactly what you're doing. If you grow up in dysfunction, you saw your mama not like your father, even hate your father, even go through the trouble of making sure your father could not even be productive in your life. You understand that even your own mama don't like black men, and you just became what she don't like. But he's supposed to take a chance with all these other women. Now, I'm not saying the man won't.
You do realize this is like final words, brother, right?
These are my final words. Okay. And I'm trying to help.
He always long-winded with his final words, though.
Hey, I wasn't even here for the show. But
go ahead, do your thing. I expect it.
It's gonna be y'all final words in a minute if y'all don't start listening to these brothers.
I ain't worried about it, but go ahead, rock out.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a lot of people that wasn't worried about something that still happened to them. It's a lot of folks who never worried about a fire.
My stance, but go ahead.
But they died in one. No, I'm just saying it ain't about stance.
Advice, but thank you.
I'm just saying it's about results. If younger brothers are starting to stray away, and I don't even know why y'all think they're gonna be there, because loyalty to a race basically comes from a father. When civilizations deal with other civilizations, men are killed off. Women and children are taken, and the children are young enough to be developed and be assimilated into the new culture. Men are always killed off. That's how you conquer a group of people. So why would all these women who have all this charge over these boys with no father to really be able to guide them be loyal to a race of people when the father wasn't there? There's no such existence of a race where the women dictate. Yes, women may be the first teachers, but how do you conquer a group of people? You kill the men and any child that's too old that's a male, and then you take the women and children that are young. That's how you do it. If ain't no fathers there, there should be no expectation for these men to grow up wanting black women like that, because it was never instilled in him. And black women have a lot to do with the fact that it was never instilled in him. Just that simple. Stop, get your head out your behind and actually start fighting for men. You cannot fight for a man that's dead and he respected. He don't even know you did it. And if you keep showing men that they're only worth fighting for after their dead body, the ones that's alive ain't gonna respect it either. And I'm done. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, Roger, for your soapbox. We appreciate you, your soapbox speech. Miss J, I think Miss J is the final person. What are your final comments, boo? Miss J? Okay, we can't hear you. I don't know, maybe she stepped away.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, I had muted myself. It's pretty much what's been said for a long time now. I think at this point in time, the only thing black women can focus on is what they can personally do to can improve their lot. The weight issue, making sure you're not popping out all these babies. As far as the kids that you do have, do the best that you can. But at the end of the day, I mean, the die was cast, and right now we're just living with the result and being mad about it, being concerned about it, all the other stuff. I mean, it's not going to really do you any good. They've been telling you for a long time exactly what it is. So, making a sandwich and sucking dick is not going to change it. Sorry. I mean, I know that's the advice given, and that may help someone who's already in their 40s for them to have a good remainder of their life. But, yeah, that's generally not going to work for a young person. You just end up being sexually used, end up having diseases. You have to do something besides that. And we definitely can work on our attitude. That's for sure. But like I said, getting out on these streets, yelling at cops, fussing with people who want to date somebody else, that doesn't help anything. So that's just what it is. And as far as everybody thinking that, interracial dating is somehow going to save everything, people don't really look at data. They don't really look at stats. So they can get a misperception of what's going on there. I'm not telling you not to do it. Go ahead and do what you want. But for the majority of people, that's not going to be your saving grace. You might be better off dating interculturally. But yeah, just because, believe it or not, if you look at statistic wise, white people are actually the least likely to date outside their race. If you look at the numbers, because they're a large group, we see a lot of them, but statistic wise, white men and white women, they are the least likely to marry outside their race. So, you might not want to, I know everybody wants to rush to that, but that might not be the answer, just keeping it real. But there are things that black women can do, and a lot of things that we have inside of our own ability. So you don't need to be psyched out thinking there's nothing that can be done and everything like that. There's a lot that can be done, but at the same time, I don't think you should focus all of your energy on keeping somebody else who says to your face and to everybody else, I want to go. The only thing you can say to them is just sayonara and move on to somebody else. There's 7 billion people on this planet. With internet connection, you can literally meet people from all across the globe. You simply being an American, you have more access to outside people to date, marry, so forth and so on. So that's the option you do have available to you. You don't have any option, no options at all. So you shouldn't have that in your head. But I'm saying there are things that we can do. There are things that we should do. But I'm just saying, hollering and screaming and worrying and fussing over people who are saying, hey, I want to date somebody else is not a good option. So you can have your feelings, but at the same time, we don't have the ability to stop somebody else from doing what they want to do. They have free will. The Emancipation Proclamation applies to everybody in this country. We don't have the ability to stop people from doing what they want to do as long as not hurting somebody else. So don't concern yourself about it. That's my main point. So that's it.
Thank you, Miss J. We appreciate you. And I agree with that, O'Shea Lennox. Miss J is extremely level-headed. Some people just haven't given her a fair chance and automatically, make assumptions about her. But she always has some real solid points. So I just want to say, first off, I am a conscious pro-Black woman, just as some people in this space subscribe to SYSBM and IBMOR and different things of that nature, and they, hold strong to the ideologies of those movements that they subscribe to. I hold strong to my belief and my hope in collectivism, my belief and my hope in, furthering us as a people. The very cornerstone of Black consciousness is the Black family. The Black family consists of Black men, Black women, Black children. I will never stop having faith that, we can overcome the divisiveness or the divide that we are currently experiencing. I'll never stop fighting and pushing for us to be a united people once again. And it has absolutely nothing to do with desperation. I've been in relationships from the time that I was 15 years old. I don't have to, I'm not desperate for a partner. And I'm currently engaged to a very good man who is also extremely pro-Black, but extremely militant. And, he is, although he's pro-Black, he is not of the mindset that, all Black women are queens and Black women are to be held on some sort of pedestal. He believes in accountability. So I, having a partner like that and someone who loves Black people, who loves me and loves Black women, but believes that we got some mess with us and we need to fix it, helps to strengthen my belief in us as a people. I understand women who have not ever experienced that. I've come across grown women 40 plus years old who've never had a man who claim that they've never had a Black man treat them good. So I understand why they don't have faith in Black men and why it would be so easy for them to walk away. But has not been my experience. From my father to my brothers to, the man who I am madly in love with, I've never been treated better by any man, so having experienced that, it's hard for me to say, oh, I'm going to walk away from Black men and I'm going to try something different. I don't really think that there's anything that compares. One last point that I want to make, because I know we need to wrap it up, is and my belief and faith in, us as a people and us one day being able to unite Black men and Black women, it has nothing to do with begging. I don't beg Black men. I don't personally condemn Black men for their relationships. I have my feelings about it. If I'm asked about how I feel about interracial dating, I'm not going to shy away from it, but I'm not going out pointing the finger at people who decide to date out. That's your business. And once you go over there across the street, don't come back. That's the way I feel about it. However, one last thing that I wanted to make mention of. Roger made a point, or somebody made a point about Black women. Oh, Roger, about us fighting when Black men are dead. I do think that's an interesting point that he made, because I personally think that as Black women, we don't always fight when and where it matters. Yes, we stand up and we fight when something wrong or something egregious happens to a Black man, but we're not fighting daily to ensure that, Black men are, receiving fair treatment. We focus more on issues that are specific to womanhood. And that does not mean that they are fighting for us, because I'm not saying that, but I am more focused on my own group and what we can do as a group of women. I do think that there are missed opportunities when it comes to us fighting for Black men, and sometimes we do show up too late. So I do have to concede that point that Roger made. But other than that, this was a dope conversation, like super, super dope. I didn't even want it to end. This stream has gone on way, way, way too long. But thank you to everybody who came up on the panel, everybody who super chatted, and everybody in the chat. And that's all I got.
Can I say one thing though?
Go ahead.
We do, if possible, we do need to have a discussion about that whole Black women fighting for Black men. We need to have a whole panel on that, because that's like
a good discussion. Yeah. I think so. I think some interesting things could come out of that. So that's definitely something to add to our topic list. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you to everybody who super chatted, the Cash Apps. Thank you to everybody who joined the panel. We're out. Have a great night. See you guys back here on Sunday. Peace.